iHeart presents
The police coming straight from the underground.
Ice Cube, bringing truth to power.
Then a natural born killer. You know how we do.
Featuring 4 decades of attitude, a musical production like he's never done before. Taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th. Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour. 4 decades of attitude.
Before hip-hop, homies got shot.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Thanks to you, thousands of teachers now have the tools they need to thrive, and their students do too.
I get up every single morning, and I can't wait to see their smiling faces coming through my door.
iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose, building brighter futures one classroom at a time.
As a teacher, I'm really trying to help them come to school every day and put their foot in the right direction of life.
And we're just getting started. Help keep the momentum going and nominate a teacher who's made a difference in your life at iHeartRadio.com/teachers.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Who said bye weeks weren't busy? On a Friday afternoon here in Austin, Texas, we welcome you in to another edition of the Craig Way Show. I'm Jake Herman, the producer of this program, in for Craig today. He is actually up in Dallas tonight, going to call some high school football as he does every week on Victory Plus, getting ready for Salina and Panther Creek tonight. So we'll keep the show on the tracks without him. It's a bye week for Texas football, but still a lot going on in the world of sports. Should be a very fun show starting now all the way up until 5 p.m. today. We appreciate you joining us here on Sports Radio 1300 The Zone and the free iHeartRadio app as we help you get the weekend started. Here's what's coming up. In a moment, we'll recap last night's game in the NFL, a pretty typical Thursday night football game in a lot of ways. We'll get to that. We'll also get to the Ryder Cup. We've been previewing it all week for you here on the program. Cameron Parker, who was in yesterday, had a couple of comments on it Tuesday. Then we talked to Jeff Shackelford on Wednesday. Mark McCumber, the former Team USA Ryder Cupper from 1989. He was on the program yesterday. If you missed those, they're available wherever you get your podcasts under the Craig Way Show. Things not exactly off to a flying start for Team USA. We'll get you all caught up on the Ryder Cup as this program rolls along. It is a Friday, which means Inconceivable takes us to, well, as Craig Way calls it, the most flaccid of the lower 48. It's Inconceivable, a Florida Man Friday coming your way later on this hour. We'll talk some baseball as we hit the second hour of the show. Some division races are in the rearview mirror. Others going to come down to this final weekend of the MLB regular season. Then we'll have a special treat at around 3:15. We'll talk to Brett Loftis. He is live at Daikin Park in Houston, the voice of the Texas Tailgaters. Now, some of you might have seen the Tailgaters. They were just up the road at Dell Diamond last weekend. They are an expansion team in Banana Ball. We'll talk to him about sort of his journey and what touring through Texas has been like. One of my best friends. Very excited to have him on the show at about 3:15 today. We'll head down the home stretch with a lot of football, and there is a lot on tap for that this weekend. We'll talk with EJ Sanchez of Texan Live at about 4:15, get his thoughts on a really good slate of high school football in the Austin area this week. we've got a big matchup for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott and company prepare to face Micah Parsons and company. Who'd have thought we'd be saying that a few months ago? But we'll hear from Dak Prescott as he gets to prepare to face his old friend, Dallas Cowboys, in what suddenly feels like a must-win game. I know it's early in the season to declare that, but Cowboys-Packers, just one of many matchups in the NFL that we're looking forward to. It's a great college football slate this weekend. So many ranked matchups. I believe 4 of them and many more. Kind of under the radar good games in college football. We'll talk to you about those as the program heads down the backstretch later this afternoon. Okay, Thursday night football. Seahawks 23, Cardinals 20. Said it was kind of a typical Thursday night game. Also a typical NFC West game from what we've seen this year, in that there were a lot of momentum swings, came down to only a handful of plays. And in the end, the team that made fewer mistakes wound up winning the football game. I think we'll see a lot of games like that in the NFC West this season. Let's talk about the winning team first, Seattle. At 3-1, there's some sneaky Mike McDonald stats that came across my timeline this morning. Kind of raised my eyebrows as to how successful he's been in just a short stint as the Seahawks head coach, especially away from home. Mike McDonald has won 9 of his first 10 road games as the head coach of the Seattle Seahawks. And, he's a defensive guru, right? And since he left Baltimore, where a lot of people kind of had him in mind as a potential John Harbaugh successor, we've seen those two defenses go in opposite directions. You think about the Baltimore Ravens, right? Their struggles on the defensive side of the ball to start the 2025 season. I know they've played some pretty sturdy offenses, but they're second to last in the NFL in scoring defense through 3 weeks. It has been an issue for Baltimore. You think about the way the Lions beat them on Monday Night Football just a few days ago, and then the big come-from-behind win for Buffalo in that Sunday night thriller to start the season. When Mike McDonald was their defensive coordinator, that was consistently a top 5 scoring defense. And the year he left, Ravens were best in the league in that category. Now the Seattle Seahawks, who, now I know the roster wasn't in the best shape when Coach McDonald took over. The previous 2 years, they were a bottom 10 team in scoring defense, actually 25th in the league 2 years in a row. Last year, improved to 12th. Right now, they're 4th in terms of scoring defense. And that Seattle defense dominated the Arizona Cardinals for the first 3.5 quarters of last night's game. Should have had the game wrapped up before things got, very Thursday night football late in that game, with Arizona going down the field to tie things up before the eventual game-winning field goal for Seattle. Sam Darnold continues to win games. 14 wins a year ago as the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. I know Craig said it on the program last week. Maybe Minnesota wishing they had hung on to him right about now. A little early to say that. Not going to throw in the towel on J.J. McCarthy yet. And like I said last week, I'm still pretty high on this Vikings team. I think their defense is terrific. I think Brian Flores is a terrific defensive coach. But Sam Darnold is cooking to start the year. Quarterback rating at 106. That's higher than it was last year in Minnesota. 70% completions, 5 touchdowns, only 2 picks. That's the key. Sam Darnold's not turning the ball over, a trend that has continued from last year. They've got a go-to guy in Jackson Smith and Jigba. And I think the Seahawks team really believes in him. I know the play calling wasn't the most aggressive down the stretch in that game last night, but they played like a team that really believes in their quarterback. And Coach McDonald said as much after the win.
Sam's playing out of his mind right now. And you see him, he's just like such a cool customer. But he's a guy on a mission. He's just so determined for us to be a great team and a great offense, and he's doing a great job leading us.
That he is. And the Seahawks coming into the year kind of picked to be a middle of the pack team. Their win total was 8.5, depending on where you looked. They're 3-1, and they've got a division win in their back pocket. And by the way, that's 8 straight for Seattle over Arizona. We'll get to them in a moment here. Seattle has won 11 of the last 13 matchups with the Cardinals dating back to 2013, and that is including a tie. Those matchups in Arizona. How about that? 1 win in 13 years for the Cardinals at home against the Seahawks. They're 2-2. And last week, Craig and I ran through some NFL power rankings on the show. They were sitting at around 18th, and we had a debate about it. I said they were still ranked too highly at that point. I don't think 18th is a horrible ranking for the Cardinals, just in terms of where they stack in the NFL right now. But it's tough to tell what to make of this team. I don't really see them moving a whole lot higher or a whole lot lower than that back of the middle of the pack as this season goes along. The offense isn't consistent. It looks like it's supposed to for maybe a quarter and a half per game. We saw it in that win over Carolina. They were all over the Panthers in the first half, almost gave the game away late because the offense was absent in that second half. And then these last 2 weeks, the slow starts are certainly of concern for Drew Petzing's offense. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray not really on the same page early in that game. It was nice to see them link up for a couple of key completions late. Marvin Harrison Jr., a big second half, and he's going to be fine. Terrific, can't-miss wide receiver prospect, sorting through kind of an uncharacteristic slump to start his NFL career, and we'll see just how he's able to adjust. But the consistency for that Cardinals offense from quarter to quarter, game to game, it's just not really clicking. And, in year 3 for Jonathan Gannon, I think he would have hoped for a better looking offense at this point, at this juncture in the season. The other thing from last night that'll grab some headlines is the new kickoff rules, right? And this is a very Thursday night thing to happen. A technicality, right? Chad Ryland's kickoff doesn't go into the correct landing zone in these new NFL rules designed to, both encourage more kickoff returns and cut down on some of the injuries that the old kickoffs would produce. Seattle got the ball at the 40 on what turned into their game-winning drive because of that. And I saw something interesting these first few weeks, and I'm sure Craig picked up on it too, being the Rams fan that he is. Those knuckleball kicks, low squib kicks that kind of force the return men to play on their heels. There's 2 teams doing it right now, the Rams and the Panthers. And those 2 teams are holding their opponents to a league low in terms of starting field position. 5 yards better than any other team on these new kickoffs. League average right now, teams are starting drives at around the 30. Panthers and Rams opponents, they're starting at the 21 off of their opposing kickoffs. It's 5 yards better than any other team. And so that's a trend that we're just starting to see now. Maybe those 2 teams, the Panthers and Rams, are on the cutting edge. Arizona, certainly not. And that key mistake last night might have kept them from forcing overtime. So we'll circle back to the rest of the football coming up this weekend coming up. But first, we're going to talk Ryder Cup. And there is not a lot of red on the board, meaning American points during that morning session. We'll recap that and take a live look at some of the afternoon pairings who are just now making the turn towards the back 9 as the U.S. tries to get back on level footing with Team Europe on day 1 of the Ryder Cup. We also encourage you to join the show. You can use our text line by texting the word Texas, followed by your message, to 81530. We'll try and get to your questions, your comments. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. And if you're joining us on YouTube or Twitter where we live stream the show. Feel free to leave us a comment with your thoughts there as well. We'll get to one of these questions coming up about the AL MVP. That's a hot topic that we'll discuss during the 3 o'clock hour of the show as we get to some baseball stories. But coming up, what's going on at the Ryder Cup? It's a Friday edition of Fire Me Up Friday of the Craig Way Show during a Longhorn bye week on Sports Radio 1300, The Zone.
Do you ever feel like when you're talking, nobody is listening? Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone will listen to you.
What is on your mind? Go!
All you have to do is use the iHeartRadio app talkback feature when listening to AM 1300 The Zone.
Yo, hello, it's me. Enjoy the show.
We will get your message instantly, and we promise to listen to it.
Our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Streaming only on Hulu.
Beginning Thursday.
Shelly, roll!
Hi, this is Ed Sheeran.
Cool,
Brian Adams. Make some noise for Tate McRae.
Hey, I'm Sammy Hagar.
Mariah Carey.
We have Room 5. Good evening.
Glow River.
Hey, this is John Fogerty.
Tim McGraw.
And so much more.
See it all at our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One. Streaming only on Hulu. Beginning Thursday.
Make parking the easiest part of your night with ParkWiz. Reserve ahead and roll right in so you can enjoy the show, the game, or a night out without circling for parking. Save up to 50% off a secured space and skip the stress. Smarter parking starts here. Download the ParkWiz app today.
Football season is in full swing, and there's no better place to get in on the action than BetOnline, your number one source for all things football. BetOnline has all the latest odds, breaking news, live scores, and even in-game betting, so you'll never miss a moment. From every pro to college football matchup to baseball, cage fighting, and hockey futures, BetOnline keeps you locked into the action all year long. Head to BetOnline today, because at BetOnline, the game starts here.
It's hot, it's humid, it's Texas. You know we're in for a long, hot summer. Nolan Ryan for American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Beat back the hot Texas sun once and for all with the cool, clean home comfort of American Standard. Consumer testing says American Standard is one of the best, but your family comfort means the most. It's that important, and it's what we do in Texas. Stay cool this summer. Peace of mind is everything in this business. Comfort the way you like it. AmericanStandardAir.com.
Texas weather can be wild. Protect your home with residential metal roofing from Mueller Inc. Strong, stylish, and designed to last. Our metal roofs handle wind, hail, and heat with minimal maintenance. With a range of colors and styles, you'll get lasting beauty and proven durability, all backed by paint warranties up to 45 years. Visit with one of our sales representatives today at any of our locations across Texas, including Marble Falls and Spicewood.
Is 2024 the year that you get a brand new car? You've been thinking about it for a little while, and now's the time to do it. I'm going to tell you who to call. Apple Leasing. Call them at 346-9977. Go to their website, appleleasing.com. Maybe it's the first time you're ever hearing about Apple Leasing. Well, for starters, I've been leasing cars from them for over 20 years because it's really, really easy, and get any make or any model you want with one phone call. They'll get you anything. Call them at 346-9977. I also like knowing that while I have that car for the 3 or 4 year lease, it is under warranty, so I'm not going to have any surprise repairs. There's a lot of comfort in that. Lease your next car. Do it from Apple Leasing. They'll take your trade-in. Here's the number, 346-9977. That's 346-9977, or go to appleleasing.com.
Eli Manning here. There's nothing like football and King's Hawaiian sliders. There's something about those soft, fluffy, irresistible King's Hawaiian sliders that make them a winner on game day. Pick some up this weekend in the bakery or deli section of your grocery store. King's Hawaiian, There's nothing like it.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code LOCAL to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code LOCAL for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code LOCAL for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Harge and Henry, the morning kickoff, weekdays at 7. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Back with you on a Fire Me Up Friday. With you from 2 to 5 today. Here on Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Jake Herman filling in for Craig Way. And all week long, we've been getting you ready for the Ryder Cup on this program. Talked to Mark McCumber yesterday of SiriusXM. And of course, more famously, of the 1989 U.S. Ryder Cup team that tied Team Europe that year. Actually, Europe retaining the cup on that occasion. Talked to Jeff Shackelford on Wednesday. Author, reporter. He's plugged in to the Ryder Cup world. He helped us kind of make sense of some of the narratives coming into this Ryder Cup. Would the New York crowd be too rowdy? Would the money, the stipend for the Team USA players be a distraction? It was nice to throw all that out the window this morning and watch some golf, waiting 2 years for this event. But Team Europe came out ready, and they took the morning session, the foursomes, alternating shot, by 3 matches to 1. And this was not a pretty start for the American team. Well, take that back. The very start was electrifying. Bryson DeChambeau teed off first and nearly drove the green, sending 5,000 fans on the first hole into a frenzy. Him and Justin Thomas would go 1 up on Jon Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton. You know how many holes they won after that? 0. 4-3. A win for Team Europe in that match. Ludwig Åberg and Matt Fitzpatrick won their pairing 5-3 over the world number 1, Scottie Scheffler, and Russell Henley. Russell Henley was off his game this morning. And not surprisingly, Keegan Bradley offering him a chance to sort of sit and reset this afternoon. Outside of a really electrifying birdie putt on 13, we did not see the type of rock rolling skills that Russell Henley possesses that earned him a spot on this team. Åberg and Fitzpatrick, to their credit, I don't know who was beating them with birdies on 4 of the first 6 holes this morning. Took control of that one early. So did Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood. And, you know, the American crowd, with the $18 cocktails flowing and all in New York City, even they're having a hard time rooting against, I think, Rory and Tommy Fleetwood on Team Europe this morning. They turned their match into a rout, a 5-4 victory over Colin Morikawa and Harris English. So the U.S. had to salvage something from the 4th match of the morning. And Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay, Patty Ice, who I believe is now 6-2 in Ryder Cup matches, 6-2-1 over the last few times this event's been held. They were able to hold off a late charge from Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland and clinched it on the 18th green. a 2-hole victory in that final matchup, making it 3-1 in Team Europe's favor. But it got scary there. It got dicey for a moment. And, the pressure those guys were likely feeling, looking up at the scoreboard and seeing that Team Europe took those first 3 matches for about a good 45 minutes. Those were the only golfers on the course. So now the afternoon pairings have teed off. They're on course now. And there's a little more red on the board, meaning American leads, than there was this morning. Scotty Scheffler is now paired with J.J. Spawn. They took an early lead over John Rahm and Sepp Straka, but Rahm and Straka catching fire. Now 2 up through 10 holes. Sepp Straka's been unbelievable in that match so far, starting with a chipped-in birdie from the fringe on the second hole. Match 2, Ben Griffin in his Ryder Cup debut, paired with Bryson DeChambeau. They're up against Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose by 1 hole through 9. Cam Young, the New York native, making his Ryder Cup debut, and our Cameron Parker called his shot, expecting big things from Cam Young this weekend. Kind of likes how his game might be suited to Bethpage Black. And even though he's a local guy, Young, not one of those guys who's really going to lean into revving up the crowd, one of many more subdued, relaxed type of personalities on that American side. Well, he's off to a good start, paired with Justin Thomas, who was missing a lot of greens this morning. There was some conversation on the USA Network broadcast that JT was just a little bit off his game. Some people may be surprised to see him getting the nod in the afternoon from Captain Keegan Bradley. But so far, that gamble paying off as Young and Thomas are 2 up through 8 over Ludwig Oberg and Rasmus Højgaard. Højgaard, who nailed a birdie on hole number 1 during his Ryder Cup debut for Team Europe. But so far, too good from Cam Young and Justin Thomas, who, as a pairing right now, are playing at a 2-under clip, and they have that 2-hole lead. Last match of the afternoon through 8, Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry paired together. They fell behind after the first hole, after that birdie by Patrick Cantlay, but they have since recovered. And after 2 straight birdies on 6 and 7, Rory McIlroy, Shane Lowry are 2 up on Burns and Cantlay. So as it stands right now, Team Europe with 3 points on the board to the U.S. as well. And you need 14.5 points to win. We're only 4 matches into this thing, and there's 24 matches to go, including the 4 that I just told you about. There's a lot of Ryder Cup golf left. But what does it mean that the U.S. is down? And not just that, down on their home course early in this Ryder Cup. In every Ryder Cup since 1991, if you go 3-1 in that first session or better, then you've got a pretty good chance of winning. You're 7-1 in the spot that Team Europe finds itself in right now. Now, there's more variables in play. For instance, the U.S. with the home crowd advantage at this point in the competition. The U.S. not getting anything close to its best level during the first 18 holes this morning. Right now, though, 2 matches led by the Europeans, 2 matches led by the Americans, and as we speak, another birdie on hole 8 for Young and Thomas. They are 3 up on Oberg and Højgaard. USA Network has the Ryder Cup coverage, and we are hopefully in for a very exciting 3 days up on Farmingdale, New York. No major dust-ups with the crowd yet either. All those people worried about the chirping back and forth between the Europeans and the New York crowd. There was one chirp, though, that even the Europeans had to applaud. Rory McIlroy this morning, it was yesterday on the practice course actually, was trying to tighten up his shirt, fumbling around with the top button on his Team Europe polo. Guy in the crowd says, "Hey, Rory, you don't need buttons to choke." European guys all around him were giving Rory a hard time. Rory was acknowledging the chirp. Hey, game recognizes game sometimes. New York crowd hoping that they have a lot to say as this Ryder Cup goes along. As this show rolls along, we hit one of our favorite segments. And on Fridays, that means we head down to Florida, where Inconceivable never fails to deliver. That's next here on Sports Radio 1300, The Zone.
Hey, Texas football fans, Mike Harge here, and we're in for an exciting season. Thomas J. Henry Law is thrilled to be part of the action with Texas football game broadcasts. The athletes give it their all on the field, and Thomas J. Henry and over 250 attorneys give it their all when it comes to helping you and your family get the justice you deserve. Whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, dedication, strategy, and teamwork are crucial. For over 30 years, Thomas J. Henry Law has been committed to securing meaningful results for injured people and their families. After all, their law firm will be nothing without the communities and the individuals they serve. Visit tjhlaw.com to find out more. If you or a loved one have been injured, their attorneys are available 24/7 to help. They have a reputation and resources to handle any case. Free consultations with no fees collected unless they win for you. Let's get into the Texas football action this season, sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Law. On and off the field, it's all about the win.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Second opinions.
You get them with your health.
So why not with your wealth?
Your stock market investments deserve a second opinion.
At Henyon & Walsh, it only takes a second
to schedule your free second opinion.
Go online and search for Henyon & Walsh, the second opinion people. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Hey everybody, Daniel Jeremiah here.
And I'm Bucky Brooks.
On Move the Sticks, we take you inside the game, from breaking down college prospects and NFL rookies
to evaluating team building philosophies, coaching trends, and how front offices construct winning rosters.
We study the tape, talk to decision makers, and give you a perspective you won't find anywhere else. Listen to the Move the Sticks podcast on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow the Move the Sticks podcast and start listening on the free iHeart Radio app today.
Sunny skies in the Northeast with temperatures reaching the low 70s, cooler in northern New England. Warm and humid throughout the mid-Atlantic and the Southeast with temperatures topping out in the upper 80s. Scattered storms are expected to develop from the Carolinas through Georgia and Florida, with a few heavier downpours along the Gulf Coast. It's a mix of sun and clouds in the deep south with muggy highs near 90. Showers and thunderstorms flare across Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. Sunny in the Midwest as temperatures reach the low 80s. There's a weak disturbance that could bring a few clouds and light showers around the Great Lakes. The southern plains stay hot with highs in the upper 90s across Texas and Oklahoma. Further north, temperatures in the low to mid 80s with thunderstorms possible in the Dakotas and Nebraska. The desert heat is holding on in the southwest with highs near 105 in Phoenix and Las Vegas. Scattered monsoonal storms could spark over the higher terrain of Arizona and New Mexico. California's coastline will see the mid 70s while the inland valleys will hit the 90s. And mostly sunny in the Pacific Northwest with temperatures in the low 80s, cooler along the coast with highs in the 60s. That's your national forecast. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. Hook 'em horns.
Inconceivable on a Friday afternoon. We'll stay up on Long Island. People don't like when you say in Long Island. We'll stay up there for Inconceivable with a little bit of a Ryder Cup edition of Craig's famous fast food, junk food update. Although, hardly junk food. Let's just call it concessions. At the Ryder Cup, a lot's been made of the high prices, right? You try to find a ticket, you're looking at sinking north of $600, maybe more if you wait too long, or you're looking on some secondary market websites. But once you're in the door, you do get one food item and one drink with your ticket. But if you want more, it's going to cost you. A Michelob Ultra costs you $18. A premium beer, that's 19 ounces, is going to run you $19 at the Ryder Cup. Now, there are specialty cocktails available, and I know New York City sports fans, right? They love the Honey Deuce, famous drink at the U.S. Open with the melon balls hanging over the top of it. Well, I like this one. They call it the Mulligan. Yeah, the Mulligan. Something I would need a lot of at the Ryder Cup. It's the specialty drink of this year's edition. It's a mixture of Elijah Craig bourbon, some sweet black tea, lemonade, and soda water. I gave it a test run last year, the PGA Tour Championships. And people are calling it a refreshing take on the classic Arnold Palmer. I think it's fitting for a golf event. $17 for a mulligan. If I want a mulligan, it costs me a lot more than that. I have to buy new golf balls. Specialty cocktails are available for $17.50. So if you want a double, yeah, time to pony up $35 for a double Tito's at Page Black Horse. We'll get to Florida, as we do on every Friday. Something about Florida man stories just hit different during a bye week. Up first today, we'll call it a tire fire. There's no fire involved, but a Florida woman is reporting that her next-door neighbor has dubbed his 15-acre property the Black Fortress. Why? He's built walls up his driveway, around his fences, throughout the area with stacks and stacks of black tires. Kind of a grab bag of tires. Truck tires, tractor tires, you name it. It looks like somebody just stacked them on top of each other. Apparently more than 1,500 tires form this immense fence. Some say it could be as many as 2,000. The property owner, Derek Peoples, says he surrounded his entire property. This is the worst part. Each tire is filled with dirt, mulch. I guess you don't want it to blow over. But when he couldn't fill all the tires with dirt or mulch, you know what he used for the rest of those? Horse poop. Ew. So there's a lot of hazards here, but among all of them, The smell has to be the worst in my mind. However, apparently it's a huge environmental hazard too. It's basically walls of solid waste around this man's property. And this is not the first time tire storage and disposal has been a hot button issue, apparently, in Florida. Back in the 60s, people were chucking tires into the ocean or into the Gulf, creating what they called tire reefs. The concept was simple. You'll give fish a place to live. You'll get rid of all this waste. And people thought it would even increase tourism. That'd be good for the fish. Yeah, no, it didn't work out that way. To no one's shock, NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, says at the time, the 1960s, it was thought that tire placement would increase reef populations, promote tourism and fishing activity, and improve habitats for fish species with minimal economic or environmental costs. Might be cheaper than getting rid of those tires another way. It turns out those tire reefs were really, really bad for the environment, for the ecosystem, the fish, and the waterways. Unfortunately, NOAA says, after years of monitoring, scientists determined artificial tire reefs have often not improved fish populations as intended. The tires have instead caused significant environmental harm. They can leach toxic chemicals into the water and can degrade into smaller particles, contributing to microplastic pollution. Yeah, how about the horse poop that our Florida man is putting inside those tires? You don't want that kind of runoff in the water. Story for you on this Florida Man Friday. A Florida man has shot a bear that broke into his home near Orlando. Last Friday, unbeknownst to us here at the iHeart Studios, enjoying a Florida Man Friday as usual, the Clark family were having a normal day at their home near Orlando when an unexpected guest decided to stop by and was ultimately shot by homeowner Zeke Clark. The guest was a bear. It made its way from a nearby woodlands into Mr. Clark's garage, where it was trapped. However, the bear heard the garage door shut behind him and apparently went into a fit of rage and managed to claw its way out of the room. During an interview with the local news, homeowner explained the door shut behind him. You could tell he freaked out, the bear did. There was a bunch of damage left behind. He bent the door and got it open. So where did the bear go next? Well, it went into the bathroom. How do we know? Because the guy's mother-in-law was sitting in the living room and heard the dogs barking in the house. After seeing the bear enter the bathroom, the homeowner shut the door right behind it, right? Logical first step. He explained, I was able to get the door back open again, shot one time inside the bathroom, shut the door again because the bear was trying to get back out naturally, and then finished it by shooting it 2 more times. He was able to tarp the bear, pull the bear out of the bathroom, and thankfully, no real damage was caused despite the bear breaking into the property. Broke in twice. Broke into the garage and then just meandered into the house. Totally normal happenings on a Florida Man Friday. It's really lucky when you think about it. Mother-in-law's home, just watching TV in the living room. And the homeowner acknowledged that. He said, this could have been a much worse situation. And I'm thankful that it wasn't. Me too. We'll get to some of your questions on the text line as we wrap up hour number 1 of the Craig Way Show on a Florida Man Friday and a Fire Me Up Friday, despite this being a Texas Longhorns bye week. We'll get to all those questions. And if you still want to submit those, text the word Texas to 81530, followed by your question. We'll try to get to those as we wrap up hour number 1 coming up. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. We appreciate you with us here until 5 o'clock on this Friday afternoon on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and where you can always find us for free on the iHeart Radio app.
The morning kickoff with Mike Hardball Harge and the world's strongest man, WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry.
Hold on a second. Let me hit my smelling salts real quick.
Mark had to do smelling salt to come and do the show. That's what I asked about. Man, what in the world?
Listen, I'm under the weather. I'm in here.
Weekdays at 7.
Oh, Mark, I'm laughing real quick. I can't tell. You kind of look like Shaq when they put him in the Kia, dog. Like, you with a bigger car. You with a smaller car, Mark. Nevertheless.
On 1300 The Zone.
Fall into savings at Maxwell Ford. Hit the trails in a rugged Ford Bronco or cruise Austin in a new Bronco Sport. Lease a new Ford Bronco for just $447 a month with zero down, or a Ford Bronco Sport for just $347 a month with zero down. Maxwell Ford, home of transparent pricing and no dealer add-ons. Visit us on South I-35 or MaxwellFord.com. Bronco MSRP $47,307. Bronco Sport MSRP $32,990. First payment to assignment 36 months, 10,500 miles yearly. See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/25.
Fall is the perfect time to transform your home or business with fresh new color. The team at Certa Pro Painters of Greater Austin handles every detail worry-free from start to finish. Certa Pro Painters is the painting service you can rely on here in Austin, whether painting inside or out. Go with the pros at Certa Pro Painters of Austin. That's Certa with a C. Right now through October, get $250 off any project over $2,500. Call and schedule your free estimate today.
iHeart presents. The police coming straight from the underground. Ice Cube, bringing truth to power.
You know how we do.
Featuring 4 decades of attitude, a musical production like he's never done before. Taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th. Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour. 4 decades of attitude.
Homies got shot.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Don't you agree that it's a wonderful thing to save a dog's life? I certainly do, and I invite you to go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a $15 a month donation right now. Do it now, and Thomas J. Henry will generously match all charitable donations made this month online at puppyfoodbank.org. It's your chance to help save thousands of pets in our community, so please give a little to help save little guys like you. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org right now, and they'll send you a very nice gift.
Let's be real, Texas. Egg salad isn't egg salad without Miracle Whip. Everyone from Amarillo to Brownsville knows that tangy zip. So here's to you for keeping it bold, keeping it zippy, and keeping Miracle Whip in all your favorite recipes. Buy now and get your tang on, Texas.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Make parking the easiest part of your night with ParkWiz. Reserve ahead and roll right in so you can enjoy the show, the game, or a night out without circling for parking. Save up to 50% off a secured space and skip the stress. Smarter parking starts here. Download the ParkWiz app today.
Hey there, local business owner. Ready to make some more money?
Whether you own an auto shop or a dinner spot, Valpak Direct Marketing can help you do just that. All bells and whistles are included, so you advertise when and where it counts to reach new customers that spend more. Measurable results, proven reach, zero guesswork. That's Valpak. Visit valpak.com/advertise to see if you qualify for a free mailing. That's VALPAK.com/advertise. Let's grow.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Pop Rewind, hit music from the 2000s through today. Pink, Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift, Bruno Mars, Imagine Dragons, and more. I'm in love with the shape of you. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search Pop Rewind, and listen now. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone. We cover all 40 acres.
It was a beautiful day. Sun beat down. I had the radio on. I was driving. Trees went by. Me and Dell were singing Little Runaway. I was flying.
Updating your Ryder Cup scoreboard. John Rahm, just unbelievable. Through now 29 holes of golf today. He and Sepp Straka up 3 on the world number 1 Scotty Scheffler, and J.J. Spawn making his Ryder Cup debut for Team USA. Meanwhile, Bryson DeChambeau and Ben Griffin all locked up, even with Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose. Cam Young and Justin Thomas are 3 up for Team USA, the lone red on the scoreboard as we speak. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry still a 2-hole lead as they head for the back 9 against Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay. Coming out of the break, that was Running Down a Dream by Tom Petty. It's what starts the President's Race at Nationals Park. And we've got some exciting MLB races going right down to the wire. And one that was wrapped up earlier this week, the Seattle Mariners stormed their way back from a big deficit to the AL West title this season, skipping the wild card round and ensuring that they will host in the divisional round, I should say, of the MLB playoffs. But did Cal Raleigh lock up the AL MVP with it? Got that question on the text line a little bit earlier in the program. Look, you might be right. I mean, Cal Raleigh, now a minus 200 favorite in the sports books to be the American League MVP. Because really, you're looking at 2 candidates that have separated themselves from the pack, Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. And it's going to be a debate that we'll hear throughout, and we've been hearing it for months already. Cal Raleigh with 60 homers, 125 runs batted in, both leading the American League. OPS of 959, 7 WAR player, and doing it as a catcher. WAR, by the way, wins above replacement. And then there's Aaron Judge. 51 homers, 109 RBIs. The biggest separator between these two, Judge has just been a little bit of a tougher out. 328 batting average, 1136 OPS, just under 200 points higher than Cal Raleigh's. So I'll raise you this question. Which player is more valuable to their respective teams? Are the Mariners anywhere near an AL West crown without Cal Raleigh? I don't think so. Aaron Judge means so much to the Yankees. He is every bit deserving of this award. But Cal Raleigh is more valuable to that Mariners team, in my opinion, than Aaron Judge is. And Aaron Judge, just a couple weeks ago, was a foregone conclusion to be the MVP. What changed? Mariners started winning games. Team success a huge factor in the MVP, regardless of sport. It's hard to argue that you're the most valuable player to your team when your team doesn't have success as a collective. And now that the Mariners, 10-game winning streak included, stole the AL West from right under the Houston Astros as this season reached the finish line, yeah, I think Cal Raleigh's about right as a minus 200 favorite to win the American League MVP. Now, one more awesome question on the text line. With Xavier Worthy coming back into the fold this week for the Kansas City Chiefs, do you fire him up in fantasy over DK Metcalf? You know, I was going to answer this question. I looked a little closer, and the texter says my opponent scored 32 points already from Kenneth Walker, Trey McBride, and the Seattle defense last night. I'm starting to get worried. That's my team, folks. You cannot use the text line. For those of you back home in D.C., you cannot use the text line to extort league-winning data. I'm the defending champion. I intend to stay that way. And we intend to keep things rolling on the Craig Way Show. Coming up in hour number 2, a deeper look at the MLB. Only a few series left. Few games already in action today. Tigers and Guardians, neck and neck. We'll see what else is going on around the world of baseball. And then we'll talk to Brett Loftis, who is becoming one of the faces of Banana Ball. He's been all over the state of Texas recently. Can't wait to catch up with him. Hour number 2 of the Craig Way Show here on Sports Radio, 1300 The Zone. Starts in a few minutes.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating.
Keep celebrating when you bundle and save with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Make parking the easiest part of your night with ParkWiz. Reserve ahead and roll right in so you can enjoy the show, the game, or a night out without circling for parking. Save up to 50% off a secured space and skip the stress. Smarter parking starts here. Download the ParkWiz app today.
Every Nissan Frontier is battle-tested. Its frame is twisted. Its door slammed 13,920 times. And its bed drop tested over and over. We do all that to the V6 powered Frontier, so you never have to hold back. Nissan, ranked number 1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
High-quality meat, unbeatable freshness, and a family-style commitment to care. That's the Heartland difference. Heartland Steak Co. is your go-to source for premium Midwest meats delivered straight to your door, including our hand-cut selection of USDA prime and choice beef, always flash frozen for peak freshness. Go to heartlandsteakco.com. Use code FOOTBALL25 and get 2 ribeyes with a purchase of $150 or more. Heartland Steak Co. Your one-stop shop for straight-to-your-door Midwest meat. Taste the Heartland difference at heartlandsteakco.com.
The truth is, fantasy drafts are always tough. Do you reach for that quarterback or that wide receiver that no one knows about that's from your favorite college? Or do you just get that last Bud Light in the cooler? Choose wisely, because when the game's on the line, no one wants to reach in there and not have that Bud Light. Bud Light, the official domestic beer of Texas football. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The free iHeartRadio app makes your car radio jealous.
Live radio presets, lyrics for songs, and the most podcasts on the planet.
Plus, it all fits in your pocket.
Your car radio can't do that.
Make sure the free iHeartRadio app is on your smartphone now.
The #1 app for radio.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free stations waiting for you to explore right now, like 80s Rock Ride. 80s Rock Ride features Van Halen, Aerosmith, Billy Idol, Def Leppard, and more to jam out in the car. Just open the free iHeartRadio app, search 80s Rock Ride, and listen now. iHeartRadio. Free never sounded so good.
iHeartRadio.
From the Audio-Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Second hour of the Craig Way Show on this final Friday of September. Lots still to go on the show. Talking baseball in just a moment before we talk banana ball with my good friend Brett Loftis, the voice of the Texas Tailgaters expansion franchise, starting out of Savannah, home of the Bananas. Then later on in the program, we'll pivot to a great weekend of football ahead. We'll talk some college football towards the tail end of this hour, look at some of the ranked matchups and maybe a few under-the-radar matchups to keep our eye on this weekend. Of course, we're keeping you posted on the Ryder Cup throughout the day, where Team Europe leads by 3 points to 1. Remember, you got to get 14.5 to win the Ryder Cup. Team USA needs that in order to reclaim their prize from a couple of years ago after Team Europe took care of business in Rome back in 2023. Raman Straka still 3 up on Scheffler and Spawn. Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose tied with Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau. And then Justin Thomas and Cam Young, the lone red on the board right now for Team USA. 3-hole lead over Ludwig Oberg and Rasmus Højgaard. And a tight one in the final match of the afternoon with Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry 1 up at the moment through 10 over Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay. Later on in the program, we'll also visit with EJ Sanchez of Texan Live. We got a pretty packed slate of high school football around Central Texas tonight. We'll get his thoughts on some of the great matchups around the area. Just because it's a Longhorn bye week doesn't mean it's a quiet week at all in football, whether that's high school, college, or pro. And we'll talk pro football towards the end of the program with the Dallas Cowboys getting ready to take on the Green Bay Packers and the Houston Texans in search of their first win. So in Major League Baseball, last night, the Detroit Tigers snapped their skid and got a 4-2 win over the Cleveland Guardians. Boy, it's been a rough go for the Tigers, who at one point were miles ahead, 15.5 game lead over Cleveland. But prior to Thursday, they had lost 11 of their last 12, while the Guardians had won 17 of their last 19. Starting pitching, obviously, a huge factor in that. Guardians bullpen been just lights out, and you can sort of see the frustration starting to set in for Detroit a couple of days ago. And Jason Benetti said it their play-by-play broadcaster. He said, this frustration is either going to be a turning point or a rock bottom point. And it looks like Detroit Tigers still fighting for that final playoff spot. They're tied at the moment with Cleveland atop the American League Central, but the Guardians hold the head-to-head tiebreaker. Another team kind of stumbling down the stretch in the American League. It's the Toronto Blue Jays. Right now, they are tied with the New York Yankees for both the American League East Division lead and the number 1 seed in the AL as a whole. Seattle on another 7-game win streak, catching up just 1 game behind the Yankees and Blue Jays. However, Mariners closed the season out with the Dodgers over the weekend. Yankees are hosting the Orioles. Blue Jays are at Steinbrenner Field taking on the Rays. Toronto's got both tiebreakers over the Mariners and the Yankees. And boy, would home field advantage be a big deal for the Blue Jays. It's important for any team in this postseason, but they have got some pretty wide splits. No team in the American League won more games at home than the Blue Jays and the Mariners. Both identical records, 51-27 at home this season. If they can clinch home field advantage throughout the American League playoffs, it would certainly be a shot in the arm. You look at some other division races. Well, the AL wild card coming down to 2 of these 3 teams qualifying. The Red Sox at 87-72. The Tigers 1 game behind at 86-73. Big life raft of a victory last night. And the Astros at 85-74, currently on the outside looking in. 1 game out. Now, Astros need to win this weekend. They also need some help. They are at the Angels with Jason Alexander on the mound tonight against the Professor, Kyle Hendricks. They could use some losses. They need help from, of all teams, whatever's left of the Texas Rangers, who at one point were right in the mix, had a slew of injuries down the stretch of the season, derailing their late wild card push. Rangers are in Cleveland taking on those red-hot Guardians. The Red Sox are playing the Tigers. So, if one of them sweeps that series, all the Astros have to do is go 2-1 against the Angels. However, they split that series in any way. Because of the way the tiebreakers are falling, it looks as though the Astros have very, very little margin for error as far as they should be concerned. Postseason starts tonight in Los Angeles against the Angels for the Houston Astros. In the National League, there's 1 wild card spot left. The Cubs, they're in at 89-70. Not going to catch the Brewers, but they're going to host a wild card series. The Padres, they're in 87-72. 3 games behind the Dodgers at the moment in the National League West. The New York Mets are 82-77, trying to hold off a late push from the Cincinnati Reds and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Diamondbacks, if you remember, sold off at the deadline. What a run they have had, led in part by Geraldo Perdomo, just to get themselves in the mix here in the second half of the season. But it looks like they're coming to the end of the line after losing 8-0, blanked by Craig Way's Los Angeles Dodgers, led by Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who fired 6 scoreless innings yesterday for his 12th victory of the season. You know, Yamamoto hadn't gotten a whole lot of run support this year for the Dodgers. I bet you he was relieved on his last regular season start. He got plenty of help from the Dodger offense, including 2 homers from Freddie Freeman off of Nabil Crismatt in an 8-0 Dodger win. Might be the knockout punch for the Arizona Diamondbacks, who sit 2 back with 3 games to go Mets and Reds separated by one game for that final National League wild card spot. There's also some college baseball this weekend. No, not an official game, but a 12-inning scrimmage at Dell Diamond between the Texas Longhorns and the Texas Tech Red Raiders. It's at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Jim Schlossnagle said that he timed it up to match with this Texas bye week. You heard from him on the program earlier this week, and you heard from him live on the morning kickoff show this morning. Mike Hardball Harge and the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. They're on every morning from 7 to 9 a.m. right here on 1300 The Zone. And he said it was intentional. He wanted to give the fans something to watch while the football team is resetting, getting ready for SEC play. 2:30 kickoff next week for the Longhorns against the Florida Gators, with coverage beginning at 11:30 with the Third and Longhorn podcast before Longhorns game day with Mike Harge, Cam Parker, Mark Henry, and the crew. We'll get you all those details as the game gets a little bit closer. But for now, Texas baseball taking the opportunity to get some competitive innings in during an open weekend, 12-inning scrimmage. So you're going to, get your bang for your buck if you head out to Dell Diamond. And we'll be keeping a close eye on the pitching staff, because one thing that Jim Schlossnagle said in his media availability earlier this week is that Dylan Volantis, sophomore lefty, terrific back-end bullpen guy a year ago, just dominant. He might be headed for a starting role. So what does that mean? Well, Texas had their three kind of big horses back in the starting rotation, including Ruger Riojas, Harrison, and the like. They've also brought in a very talented class of transfers. So maybe Riojas, as Jim Schlossnagle hinted, heads into a relief role. Well, the media got a chance to visit with Ruger earlier this week, and here's what he had to say about the key pitchers returning and more as the season scrimmage approaches.
I feel like it was super important. I think, the university would be okay even if we weren't, but I'm super glad to be back. I trust Max, trust Coach Flosh. They'd get it done regardless, but, happy that all three of us got to come back. It was super cool to be a part of this program still.
And as a veteran of the team now, how are you trying to make your imprint on the young guys? A lot of arms come in, trying to get them adjusted and get ready to help,
prepare. Yeah, definitely just trying to help preach Max's words, just trying to get them to buy into the university, to the standard, to the program, everything. Just trying to be a role model, on and off the field for them.
As someone who has had multiple roles on this team, what is some of the things that kind of made you look at that starting position as something that you really wanted to do?
Everybody wants to start. I think it's in everybody's mind, It's always just like the goal, but we're out-getters here. We don't really have, positions. Somebody will start the game, somebody will finish the game. It doesn't really matter to us pitchers. Somebody's got to get the outs. So, whenever I can get in there, it's, whatever I need to do, I'll do it.
Can you walk us through your process of deciding to return? What kind of made you make that decision?
I think just the night we lost last year just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and I figured, I've got one more year of eligibility, and I don't want to go out like that. I don't want to go out, with that taste in my mouth, and I want to be back here with my guys. So I want to win a national championship here. So that's the goal this year.
Did you kind of take your name off the board at that point, or did you still kind of get some feedback from scouts and stuff? What was your process there?
I really just talked with my family and then decided to take my name out. I just wanted to be here. I think this is where I belong. So I just wanted to come back.
With that being the case, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
With that being the case, what's this team like? What's your approach to the team this year as a leader, as one of the guys in that bullpen to get over that hump?
Yeah, this year, I can already just tell the buy-in from all the young guys, all the transfers. It's awesome. Last year, there were some growing pains, whole new turnaround, but we figured things out really quickly, and we all connected very quickly. And this year, we're even more connected. Just everybody's blending very well. Everybody's bought in. Everybody knows what the main goal is, and we're all working towards it together.
Are y'all over the regional loss, or does that still kind of fuel y'all?
I think it'll fuel me for a long time.
Why is that?
We felt like we were in a good position to win it all, and sometimes it just doesn't go your way. So losing like that at home just was tough. It was a disappointment, to be honest. And, I just want to not make up for it, but I want to go out on my terms this year.
You mentioned the trust in Coach Loftis. Like, what did he prove to you, to build that trust? What did you see from him after a season?
Just the trust that he showed in everybody. He showed trust that, to let Max do his thing with the pitchers, to do his thing with the hitters. It just, everything that he gave us was, something I hadn't experienced before. So it's just really awesome.
You say you want to go out on your terms. Has that been like a conversation with the rest of the team, the guys that also decide to return, and the younger guys? Like, what's those conversations been like, early in this, kind of getting into this ball?
Yeah, I think the ultimate goal for every team, for everybody, is always to win a national championship. But to get another year under Max as well is just a big learning process. It's very helpful, and so a lot of those other guys wanted the same thing. But I mean, we all know in the back of our mind we can win it all. On any given year. Last year just wasn't our year, and so it's going to be our year this year.
How big is it for you personally this fall? Last fall you didn't get to pitch much because you had the injury. This year you get more time with Max to really go through and prepare for the season.
I think it's huge. Like you said, I didn't get to throw a lot last fall, so just watching and learning was also a big step. But getting to be hands-on with him and throw and get feedback and all this, it's awesome. Now that I get to experience just like everybody else, it's just really cool.
What do you think of some of the new hitters? I don't know if you've been around them much yet.
I think they're all great. I mean, everybody's got that, competitive drive, no Schuslers, no Rylands, no, big personalities, but that's, in their own way, that's great. So, just excited.
You excited for this weekend to see Texas Tech and I don't know, what can you learn about yourselves in that game? Yeah,
it'll definitely be a learning experience for a lot of the young guys, just hopefully get to play in front of a big crowd. For the older guys, knock the rest off, just, face some good competition. It'll be a lot of fun.
Convenient that it's the football bye weekend.
Yeah.
You have a good crowd?
Yeah, that's pretty good too.
Is there one or two new pitchers that we should keep a lookout for?
Man, I think all of them, all of the freshmen are great. Both the transfers, Hayden and Cal, really old, mature guys, just veterans, know their way around the game, and they bought in really quickly to, our program and our standard here. So I'd say everybody.
Those some insights on the Texas baseball team from pitcher Ruger Rioja. So dominant as a starter last season. What will we see from him and the rest of his bullpen mates in 2025? Time will tell. Again, that's a 1 p.m. first pitch for the Longhorns, a 12-inning scrimmage with Texas Tech. Should be a beautiful day tomorrow. Anyone step outside this morning? It's about 60, 65 degrees before sunrise. Yeah, that's what it's going to feel like for about the next week or so around here. Good time to get out, spend your bye week Saturday at Dell Diamond. And if you were there last week, you may have seen something a little different up in Round Rock. The Texas Tailgaters, an expansion team from Banana Ball. That's right, Banana Ball. Sort of a different take on baseball. They've been touring through Texas all fall long. And in a moment, we're going to catch up with their broadcaster, Brett Loftis, a good friend of mine. He is inside the broadcast booth at Dyken Park as the Tailgaters conclude their tour through Texas by taking on the Savannah Bananas later tonight on TNT. That's next here on a Fire Me Up Friday afternoon on the Craig Way Show, Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and as always, on the free iHeartRadio app.
Coach Sark here. Stay connected to the Longhorns on the free iHeartRadio app.
Breaks the tackle 30, turns down the sidelines. Say goodnight to this one. Touchdown, Texas.
Just search 1300 The Zone. Hook 'em.
iHeartRadio brings you Global Citizen Festival 2025 from New York City at Central Park's Great Lawn. Live performances from Shakira, Cardi B, Tyla, Ira Starr, Mariah the Scientist, Camilo, and many more. All hosted by Hugh Jackman. Join the movement changing the world at globalcitizenfestival.com. Tomorrow, hear the entire festival live all day on the free iHeart app's Global Citizen Radio and on Hit Nation at 10 p.m. Eastern.
You've heard me tell you how much I love going to Tony C's Pizza and Beer Garden for the best pizza in these parts. 3 great locations down south at Kohler's Crossing in Kyle, Anderson Lane and Shoal Creek in Austin, and the one right by Del Diamond in Round Rock, where Linda and I frequently enjoy the pizzas we love best. I'm a little partial to the Primo, pepperoni, Italian sausage, roasted red peppers, sauteed mushrooms, caramelized onions, and black olives, but I also love their pizza of the month. And this month, it's the Mulberry Meatball. Giola family meatballs, roasted red peppers, caramelized onions, and fresh mozzarella. Tony C's features happy hour from 3 to 6, Monday through Friday, with $3 off appetizers, $2 off 22-ounce drafts, frosé, bellinis, and wine by the glass. And don't forget about Pitcher Perfect Thursdays, with half off pitchers of beer all day. Get to the Tony C's location that's closest to you, in Kyle at Kohler's Crossing, Round Rock in front of Del Diamond, and Anderson Lane at Shoal Creek. Austin owned and operated. It's Tony C's Pizza and Beer Garden.
iHeart presents
The police coming straight from the underground.
Ice Cube, bringing truth to power.
Then a network born killer.
You know how we do. Featuring 4 decades of attitude, a musical production like he's never done before. Taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th. Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour. 4 decades of attitude.
Before hip-hop, homies got shot.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
After a trip to the 2025 Women's Final Four, an SEC championship in their first season, and sold-out crowds at the Moody Center, Texas women's basketball is on fire. And season tickets for 2025-26 are on sale now, starting at just $100. Longhorn Nation helped deliver the first undefeated home season in 22 years. Now it's your turn to be part of the action. Bring the energy, bring the pride, bring the Texas fight all season long. Lock in your seats today at TexasLonghorns.com.
This isn't just a game, it's a once-in-a-generation event. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Come be part of a legacy that never stops. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com.
Let's go.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Tomorrow night, live on NBC and Peacock, the Oregon Ducks
Spectacular.
take on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
With a massive play.
It's the Whiteout in Happy Valley, under the lights in prime time.
This house is rocking.
Don't miss Big Ten Saturday night, tomorrow, 7 Eastern, live on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night.
When it's time for a new car, you need to call Apple Leasing. The number is 346-9977. You know, when you lease a car, the payment is often a lot less than if you were to finance that exact same car. Plus, it's under warranty. Do you have all the new technology in your car? If you're like me, I love the new technology. Chances are, if you're in a car that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years old, you don't. Well, when you lease your car from Apple Leasing, not only is it under warranty, it's got all the latest and greatest technology. Call them today at 346-9977. They're going to take great care of you. And if you're in a lease right now, don't worry about it. Apple Leasing specializes in getting you out of your current lease and into a brand new under warranty car from Apple Leasing. Call them at 346-9977 or go to appleleasing.com. Any make, any model from Apple Leasing.
Texas football plays here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Okay, senoritas and caballeros, ladies and gentlemen, mighty diamond and Darren, hey baby from the 17. Okay, put your hands
We're
up in
back.
the air,
It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way.
I wanna know if you'll be my girl.
He's not just a broadcaster, he's a broadcast entertainer. And one of my best friends, Brett Loftis, joins the program now, the voice of the newest banana ball franchise, the Texas Tailgaters. Brett, how's the view from the press box at Dyken Park right now?
Man, it's beautiful, Jake. You know, it's an elite stadium. You know, we're gonna keep the roof on this thing the whole weekend too. So I'm excited. I was happy you came back with a little "Hey baby" too, man. That was hype. That was hype right there.
Yeah, we'll circle back to that later. But tell me, Brett, when you came into the ballpark and walked by that right field foul pole, was it still ringing from Howie Kendrick's home run?
I think so, man. I would actually walked out there yesterday to the Crawford boxes, and I can tell you, I don't know how these guys play left field here. Like left field here and left center field is just unreal. That's a hard steel wall out there too, so it's got to be hard to play left field. But yeah, I think right field was probably still ringing a little bit.
Well, I'll leave the Astros fans be for now. Of course, both of our favorite teams have celebrated some of their best moments of our lifetime at Dyken Park, or was then known as Minute Maid Field. But this weekend, it's banana ball that's taking over. And briefly, for some people out there that might have never heard of or seen banana ball yet, number one, you're probably not spending a lot of time on social media. Number two, how would you sort of explain it to somebody that's learning about it for the first time?
Yeah, I would say banana ball, you know, it's baseball, but it's the most entertaining form of baseball you'll ever watch. We have 11 different rules that differentiate us from the sport of baseball. A lot of dancing, you know, hitter walk-ups. You know, our scoring system is different. You know, it's not based off a run, but rather points. So whoever wins the inning gets a point. That's one of our 11 rules. So, and one misconception about those who maybe have heard our sport and maybe try to say this is our game is not rigged. It is a highly competitive sport. We don't know the outcome of the game going into the day. We do know, you know, our entertainment, we have an entertainment script, so we kind of know roughly when certain things are going to happen entertainment-wise in the game. But from a strictly competitive baseball standpoint in banana ball, it is not scripted, fully competitive. So that's a little spark notes on our beautiful sport.
Yeah, so you guys will rehearse, right, those walk-ups and sort of TikTok-style dances, all the shenanigans and things that happen. But, I mean, there is a competition going on down on the field. And as a broadcaster, right, how do you kind of walk that balance of, okay, this is entertainment versus this is a sport?
I think it's all about feel. I think you want to be as entertaining as possible. I mean, from day one when I started broadcasting, you know, 18 years old, it was always, you know, you got to make the broadcast as entertaining as you possibly can, no matter the outcome of the game. Well, now the game itself is, you know, exponentially more entertaining than a regular baseball game. But you also have to know you got to toe the balance between being entertaining and also having the feel in the moment to give the viewer at home what this means from a competitive standpoint. You know, this weekend, big implications for the playoffs. You know, the Bananas, if they sweep this weekend, they will take over the number one seed for the Banana Ball Tour Championship going into next weekend to our playoffs. If the Tailgaters take just one game, and the Party Animals will have the number one seed who've had the number one seed the entire year. So this weekend, maybe more than almost any other in the history of our sport, has major implications when it comes to a competitive standpoint. So we're all very excited about that.
All right, so let's back up, right? Because it started with just the Savannah Bananas. It expanded to include the Party Animals. Now you're one of 4 teams. Tell me about what it's been like as the voice of the Texas Tailgaters touring through Texas for the first time, because you've been crisscrossing the state over the last month or so.
Yeah, we started in Frisco the first weekend of September, and then we went to San Antonio the second week, and then we ended up in Round Rock down there with you guys in Austin last weekend, and now we're here in Houston. It's a lot of fun. You know, I really enjoyed the state of Texas. I love it here. I honestly could live here. Austin was such a fun place. And, yeah, I mean, the maturation of our sport, you know, having the Texas Tailgaters as a 14 this year, getting their headliner tour in their inaugural season, which no other team has done. You know, the Bananas, when Banana Ball started, they had already been established as a Coastal Plain League team. The Party Animals had been around for a few years and then finally got their inaugural headliner tour last year in 2024. The Firefighters, their inaugural season being in 2024 as well, didn't have a headliner tour until this year. So it was special for us to, you know, for me to walk right in the door, to be a part of this thing that's so special with Banana Ball as a whole, but then our brand as the Texas Tailgaters, and then they get to headline 6 games and be the home team in Texas for 3 weeks, and then get to, you know, spend the last weekend of the year here in Houston at a big league ballpark. That's so much fun. And then next year, we're going to add 2 more teams to the sport that'll be named here in just a couple weeks. So we'll have 6 teams, and we'll have an official league next year, the Banana Ball Championship League. So it'll be the first year of that. As of now, it's a tour, what it's been with these 4 teams this year. Next year, it'll be an official league.
So that's a look into the future. I want to go to the past a little bit because a couple years ago, you and I were working together in North Dakota, right? Calling play-by-play for all sorts of high school collegiate events. I went back to DC for a bit. You went back to South Carolina. Tell me about what the process was like as you kind of auditioned and went through the interview process to become the voice of the Tailgaters, because I know it was pretty unique for, well, a pretty unique organization.
Yeah, it was crazy. John Selesnik, who is over STAA, which is the Sportscasters Talent Agency of America, he put out a filler describing a broadcast. He said nothing of the Savannah Bananas. Dan Doherty, who was a coworker of ours in North Dakota, recommended me. John texted me and sent me the application. There's a bunch of video prompts I had to do, just on video, just on my cell phone. Had to edit some stuff together.
It's almost like COVID style, right? You're just sending videos from your basement.
Yeah, and it's not like your regular broadcasting tape. Like, I had to send a video of a WWE style intro. I had to voice over highlights. I had to create a storyline, and I had to put all these videos together. And then once I did that, I sent that in. A few months later, in February, I had my first interview with Jesse Cole, which is the owner of our organization.
That's the yellow tuxedo man, if you haven't seen him.
That's the man wearing the yellow tux. And then in early March, I went down to Savannah, had what we call a test drive here in Banana Land. Mind you, I wore a cowboy hat in my audition tape, and I had no idea that the Texas Tailgaters existed. And then they obviously pitched me for that, which was ironic enough. And then middle of March, got a contract offer, moved to Savannah in April, and been off and running ever since.
That is just incredible. I remember talking to you kind of that week of. Next thing I know, I'm hearing, "Hey, I'm in Savannah. Oh, and hey, I'm on the air here." Tell me what that was like. They just kind of threw you right into the fire right away.
Yeah, it was funny because we got down there and they wanted to see, the guys that lived in Savannah, how I would mesh with them and some of my other skills outside of just broadcasting that weekend. And so there were 2 games that weekend. So game 1, I was just kind of there observing. And at dinner that night, Jesse and our executive producer, Yvonne Trezak of BTV, are talking. And I'm just standing right there, just like a fly on the wall almost. But they're talking about me. And Yvonne's telling them how I had such a good day. And Jesse's like, "We're going to put them on air tomorrow, right? Live." And Yvonne's like, we can see. And Jesse's like, "No, we're going to give him a live hit tomorrow night." And Yvonne's like, "Okay." And so we go and, did the live hit. And Jesse texted me right after I did it. And that obviously felt really good. It was very complimentary. So, getting to work and work so closely with a guy that, I compared him the other day. I was talking to somebody. I always wondered growing up, like, what it must have been like in the early days of Apple or Microsoft, working with Bill Gates, working with Steve Jobs, some of your more innovative minds of all time. And then I kind of just come to the conclusion, well, I'm getting to, work with Jesse Cole right now in the early stages of Banana Ball and our entire organization. So it is special to get to work with a guy like that, especially that initial weekend.
Yeah, I get some SNL vibes from the way you describe Banana Land a little bit. And hey, look, it reminds me a little bit of my first show here just a few weeks ago with Craig Way. He said, "Hey, get your mic ready. We're going to introduce you out on air." And now here we are. I bring up all that because this weekend is special for you. It's your national television play-by-play debut. Games on TNT this weekend from Houston. I mean, a couple of years ago, could you have ever dreamed up a scenario like this, and for it to come in a big league stadium, no less?
Yeah, it's, Jake, this. My entire life, I've wanted to be a play-by-play guy. I've never wanted to do anything else. I mean, some guys have changes of heart. Some guys want to be pro ball players, and then that ends up fizzling out. Or some guys want to do this, that, and the third, and they kind of change. Since I can remember, 4 years old, I wanted to do this. And, tonight's really, really special for me. And this weekend as a whole, I never thought I'd do it at 24. I thought I'd have at least a 3 in front of my age. And I think that just speaks to this organization, speaks to how blessed I am to get to put on a headset and broadcast in a Major League Stadium on national TV at 24 years old. Just the opportunity that Jesse Cole and this entire organization is giving me. And Vico Scala, for those that do watch the Bananas, the voice of the Savannah Bananas, the mouthpiece of our organization, I would say, outside of Jesse, he is actually at a wedding this weekend, and his Ironman streak of 264 straight games is coming to a conclusion. So that is the reason that I'm doing play-by-play this weekend. So hate that Vico's not here, but very blessed and excited for the opportunity, and very, very excited to get to sit in the seat of such a legend as Vico Scala, man. I mean, Vico's done so much for our organization. He's done so much for the Bananas. I don't think a product that we have from our television, I don't think we would be anywhere close without that guy. I don't even know where we would be at without Vico Scala, who started back in the middle of COVID when the Bananas were just still a collegiate summer league team and before Banana Ball even really was formed. So Vico's a legend, and it is very humbling to get to be the guy who kind of steps in his seat for even just 2 games when he's getting married. So, or not get married, at a wedding. He'll get married.
I was gonna say it's like our Cameron Parker going to another wedding, but as Craig Way reminds us, not yet his own. I guess there is a positive then to a fall wedding, the much maligned fall weddings in the middle of an amazing sports weekend.
Yeah, right. I mean, this is a big sports weekend. Obviously, I'll be missing it tomorrow night. Your other Tide, I should say. I know you're Longhorn, but your childhood Tide and my Georgia Bulldogs playing each other. So be missing that big football Saturday tomorrow afternoon. But I think I'll be all right. I'll just look at the beautiful roof here and the ball flying in Dyken Park and be all good.
Well, let me get a prediction from you before we let you go. Bama, Georgia, your Dogs, my kind of second love, well, first love, now turned into second love, the Alabama Crimson Tide. What can we expect from that one? What's your pick?
Wow. I mean, if after week 1, Ty Simpson and Alabama looked bad. I mean, really bad. And, since then, I know they played a few cupcake teams, but, they've really got kind of turned the tide a little bit, no pun intended. And on Georgia's side of things, was not impressed the first few weeks by Gunnar Stockton. Then they walk into Knoxville, and Gunnar Stockton looks like he could be in New York for the Heisman. Defense didn't look very good, but they played very well in that second half, holding down Joey I can't say his name. The quarterback for Tennessee. And they did a really good job in the second half. And so I was very excited going into this weekend. This is the first time that these two teams have played in Athens since 2015. There's rumors of a blackout that's going to happen here for Georgia. I don't know if that can be confirmed or denied. So I think the Dogs are going to win. I think it's going to be a very good football game. I don't think it could top last year's game. I think the Dogs win it by 2 possessions, but the score is a little deceptive at the end. I think it's a 38-28 final score. Dogs on top of that.
Hey, I hate the prediction, and I hate to let you go, but I'm absolutely love that you took the time to come join us. So proud of you. That's Brett Loftis, the voice of the Texas Tailgaters. We got to get you back to talk some MLB once the Banana Ball season winds down. Why don't we?
Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed in my Atlanta Braves this year, but hopefully we still have a really good Major League Baseball playoffs. The playoff chase right now going into the final weekend is looking really, really fun. So that does fire me up.
That's Brett Loftis fired up on a Fire Me Up Friday. We've got much more to come. A great slate of college football to break down for you right here on Sports Radio 1300, The Zone.
Football is back, and so is your chance to win cash like never before with DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Your game day instincts can get you to score real money fast. Here's how you play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats and unlock the upside of every snap that it brings. There's no gimmicks, no convoluted rules. Just make your picks, and if they hit, you win. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry for your first set of picks. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use the code SPOTLIGHT. That's code SPOTLIGHT for new customers to play $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Better payouts and bigger wins only at DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 plus age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500?
That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $500,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com. Together, let's drive.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Make parking the easiest part of your night with ParkWiz. Reserve ahead and roll right in so you can enjoy the show, the game, or a night out without circling for parking. Save up to 50% off a secured space and skip the stress. Smarter parking starts here. Download the ParkWiz app today.
Hey, are you looking for a job where you can have fun, make great money, and be a part of an amazing team? Twin Peaks is the place for you. They're hiring Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and so much more. Whether you're looking to be in the front of the house or behind the scenes, there's a spot for you on the team at the Lodge. Ready to join the team? Just text WORK, the number 4, TP to 85,000 to apply today. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
AM 1300 The Zone occasionally holds contests. For more information about contests on this station, go to am1300thezone.com/rules.
Go get it. The new season of the NFL lives on iHeartRadio.
It's blocked! It's scooped up by Will McDonald! That's a jet touchdown!
Local stations bring you the action live.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
Plus, fantasy advice and expert analysis with the official NFL Podcast Network.
A strip sack! A walk recovery!
Everything you love about football is on the iHeartRadio app.
Throws to the end zone. Caught, needed, touchdown! Chargers!
Search NFL to dive in.
Crime Stoppers of Southeast Texas need your tips to help investigators solve crimes throughout Hardin, Orange, and Jefferson counties. Your tips are covered by legislation that help us keep your name and information anonymous. If you have information about a crime, call 409-833-TIPS, log on to 833tips.com, or use the P3 Tips app and submit your tip using a smartphone or tablet. All tips to Crime Stoppers of Southeast Texas will remain anonymous, and you may qualify for a cash reward. If you use the P3 Tips app, investigators can talk directly to you through the Dialogue app. Please remember not to put your name or your personal information when corresponding with investigators. For Crime Stoppers of Southeast Texas, I'm Officer Carol Riley.
Crime Stoppers brought to you by Vin's Paint and Body and iHeartRadio.
It's the morning kickoff show with Mike Hardball Harge and Mark Henry. Weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. Only on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Back to the Craig Way Show. Connect with Craig through the text line by texting ZONE to 81530, followed by your message. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Well, we thank Brett Loftis for joining us on this Fire Me Up Friday on the Craig Way Show. Jake Herman in for Craig Way here this afternoon, more than halfway home, and still lots to discuss in the world of college football. We'll get to all that, including my prediction for Alabama and Georgia. But first, I want to clear up a couple things. First, the Longhorn you heard from just a few minutes ago earlier on in the program, that was Max Grubbs. I misspoke when I said it was Ruger Riojas. Grubbs, a guy who moved from the starting rotation 2 years ago into the bullpen for the majority of last year and really saw a big improvement across the board. Somebody that Jim Schlossnagle certainly going to rely a whole lot on this season as we prepare for the Texas Longhorns scrimmage, a 12-inning scrimmage on Saturday afternoon. That's tomorrow, 1 p.m. at Dell Diamond. You know, another guy who was terrific for the Texas baseball team last year, Ethan Mendoza, hit .333, led the team in batting average, also an all-SEC defender, and he had the chance to answer some questions before the scrimmage, starting with whether or not this team still has that regional loss in the back of its mind.
Well, I would say we're definitely over it, but at the same time, it's not forgotten, you know. Definitely drives us every single day. It's not more just UTSA, it's more of like we didn't complete our goal, winning the national championship. Like obviously that's our goal at Texas, and just kind of something that's lingering in our minds, and that it drives us every single day.
Yeah. Last season you were the new guy to the infield. This season, obviously you're the returner, and everyone else is kind of being rebuilt around you. How are you trying to work to get that cohesivity and the cohesiveness around the infield defense?
Yeah, I would say just building relationships on and off the field. That's a big part of it. Getting to know guys, know their strengths, know their weaknesses, like know what they need. If I need to like get on them, if I need to like encourage them, stuff like that. That's a big part of it. I mean, I've been playing middle field with Adrian. I knew Adrian from last year, obviously, and so we're doing good up there. I've just been new guys around the infield, just kind of talking to them. It's been really great so far.
What have you seen from new guys or just the team in general? It's like, okay, I'm ready to get on the field with these guys and get into the action.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting after every single day, especially Josh Livingston. I mean, he's here super early in the morning. We have 6 a.m. workouts, and I mean, he's here like 5:15, just hot tub, cold tubbing, getting after it. A lot of people have taken like, I guess from last year, they showed all the new guys what it meant to be a real Longhorn, just being here every single day, being early, being at the field all day, and we kind of kept that this year, and people were here all the time. It's pretty great to see.
Not every team signs up to play, a team like Texas Tech right away. What do you think that says about this program that you guys are wanting to get that type of game early on?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter who we play. We're going to play the game. The opponent, it's a nameless, faceless opponent. We're trying to do whatever we need to do. And, we're all excited to play Saturday. It's going to be a great time to see everyone out on the field for the first time.
Where do you think Adrian settles at third base or?
I mean, I'm not the coach, so I don't really know. But he's been playing short. He looks really good at shortstop. I mean, it doesn't really matter where he plays. To be honest, he's gonna rake. He's gonna play great defense. It's just a great guy to be around.
Anything you did particularly this offseason to get ready for the season in terms of changes to your hitting or glove work or anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I put on like 20 pounds in the offseason. Really focused on my diet and just getting faster, getting stronger. Played in the Cape. That was a really cool experience. Got back here, started working out every single day. My body has changed, I would say, like a lot. And so, yeah, I'm super excited.
Still a better athlete than your sister?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, she's gonna get on to me for that. But no, she's tearing it up right now. She's playing tomorrow, so I'm going to be watching that. She's been getting in there, getting after it, so I'm really proud of her.
So you saw some of your new teammates at the Cape
Yes.
this summer. Can you give us your
Yeah, so actually I lived with Ashton Larson. So he was my roommate in the Cape. It was pretty cool just like to meet him. I didn't know he was going to be a Longhorn at the time. So when I saw he committed, I was pretty hyped to see him. And we played Carson Tenney, we played LeFew. LeFew didn't pitch against us, thankfully. I faced him in the fall. Jeez, man, that guy's crazy. His stuff's crazy. But I saw Tenney, met him. It was pretty cool to see all those guys before when they were committed.
What did you think of Tenney when you saw him play?
Big body, he's gonna swing that stick. He's gonna hit some laser beams across the field. Really good catcher. I'm excited to see what he's got in the game. I want to see some dog come out of him.
Anybody in this freshman class, hitters wise, you kind of expect to maybe see the field early?
Honestly, I don't really know. I mean, all of them they're grinding. They're freshmen. They're getting used to getting their feet in the water. We haven't had many ABs yet, so I don't really know like what's really happening with all that. But like, I mean, they're gonna do their best. I'm super excited for that.
Why do you want to gain weight? Just more pop at the bat?
Absolutely. I mean, I've gotten faster. I just want to test it out, see, So I gained some weight, got a little faster, got stronger, obviously hitting the ball harder. Mm-hmm. So there was really like no downside for me to gain weight. Just kind of, I like being bigger, I want to hit the ball harder.
Right.
That's scary for the rest of the SEC. Ethan Mendoza coming back stronger for his sophomore season. I want to update the Ryder Cup scoreboard real fast. USA gets their second points of this competition. It comes courtesy of Cam Young and Justin Thomas. I got to give Cam Parker his flowers because he thought that Cameron Young would come out and make a difference for Team USA. He does, as they dispatch Oberg and Højgaard 6 and 5, making the score 3-2. Out on course, John Rahm and Sepp Straka 3 up on Scheffler and Spahn. Fleetwood and Rose up by just 1 on Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau through 14 holes there. And it's been close throughout in the final match of the day between McIlroy and Lowry and Burns and Cantlay. And through 12, Team Europe 1 up. We'll take a break and come back to wrap up hour number 2 of the Craig Way Show.
It's the morning kickoff.
Mac Brown. And I want to give you your flowers because you allowed a young Mark Henry who you didn't know to come to the University of Texas and train. And a lot of what I did in my prime was because I was allowed to train at the best facility in the city.
Thank you. I used to walk down and say, "Who is that?" He needs to be playing. My dog said, "No, he's too old." I said, "Doesn't matter. Let's get him climbed up here and get him in school, man."
Weekdays at 7.
Football season is in full swing, and there's no better place to get in on the action than BetOnline, your number one source for all things football. BetOnline has all the latest odds, breaking news, live scores, and even in-game betting, so you'll never miss a moment. From every pro to college football matchup to baseball, cage fighting, and hockey futures, BetOnline keeps you locked into the action all year long. Head to BetOnline today, because at BetOnline, the game starts here.
This isn't just a game, it's a once-in-a-generation event. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Celebrate 100 years of high-flying dunks, 100 years of show-stopping moves, and 100 years of changing the game. Bring the whole family and be part of a legacy that never stops. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com.
We're live at Specs, where elite snack strategies are unfolding. This shopper just dove headfirst into the cheese section, barreling through the brie like he's got something to prove. Now he's eyeing that top shelf tequila. Does he have it? He does! Unbelievable! Specs selection, flawless. Specs savings, unstoppable. He's loading the cart like a man possessed. And it all started at Specs. Cheers to savings.
iHeart presents
The police coming straight from the underground.
Ice Cube, bringing truth to power.
Am I then a natural born killer?
You know how we do. Featuring 4 decades of attitude, a musical production like he's never done before. Taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th. Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour. 4 decades of attitude.
Before hip-hop, homies got shot.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
eBay has reinvented vehicle buying. From click to curb, everything's covered. Ever try to buy a car online and end up in a parking lot with a stranger and some blind trust? That era is over. Now with Secure Purchase, eBay isn't just where you find your car. It's where you buy it, start to finish. Title, financing, registration, delivery, it's all built in. This is the modern way to buy your next ride on eBay. eBay. Things people love. Secure Purchase is powered by Caramel Dealer Services, LLC, an eBay subsidiary.
Tomorrow night, live on NBC and Peacock, the Oregon Ducks.
Spectacular!
Take on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
With a massive play.
It's the Whiteout in Happy Valley, under the lights in prime time.
This house is rocking.
Don't miss Big Ten Saturday night, tomorrow, 7 Eastern, live on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night.
Stop settling for weak sound. It's time to level up your game and bring the boom. Hit the town with the ultra-durable LG X Boom portable speaker and enjoy vibrant sound wherever you go. Elevate your listening experience to new heights because, let's be real, your music deserves it. The future of sound is now with LG X Boom. And for a limited time, save 25% at LG.com with code FALL25. Bring the boom. X Boom.
Tomorrow night, live on NBC and Peacock, the Oregon Ducks take on the Penn State Nittany Lions under the lights in primetime in Happy Valley. It's Big Ten Saturday night, a matchup you won't want to miss. Tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern, live on NBC and Peacock.
Records, milestones, firsts, lasts, and everything in between. What happened today in sports history on iHeartRadio?
Well, shaking fellow sports fans, it's Andy West. Let's take a look back on this day in sports history, September 26th. We'll start off today in 1961, where Roger Maris of the New York Yankees ties Babe Ruth's 34-year-old record with his 60th homer of the season off Jack Fisher of Baltimore. Jumping ahead today in 1981, Nolan Ryan of the Houston Astros throws his 5th career no-hitter to become the first player to do it 5 times. He'd finish his career with 7. And today in 2008, the Yankees crushed the Red Sox 19-8 at Fenway Park. Boston's loss means that Tampa Bay officially clinches the American League East Division title. It's the first time since 1997 that neither Boston or New York won the AL East. Tampa Bay had never won 70 games in a season before that year.
Now you know. Today in sports history on iHeartRadio.
Longhorns baseball plays here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
Okay, one more hour to go here on this Friday edition of the Craig Way Show. After this, we're going to go through the college football slate. Alabama at Georgia. Oregon at Penn State. Yeah, hope you bring popcorn to your bye week Saturday night. Stark told us that he's going to spend some time with his family watching football. That's where I would be too on a Saturday night. Lots of good games to preview. And then if you're looking to catch some Friday night lights in the Austin area here on this Friday evening, we've got some good matchups to preview for you. EJ Sanchez from Texan Live will join the program and preview a pretty solid slate in high school football tonight. You're listening to the Craig Way Show right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and always free on the iHeartRadio app. 1 hour to go, and then we send you off to your weekend.
Looking for chef-inspired comfort food with a side of history? Come to the Lee Kitchen and Tavern, where scratch-made American classics meet a 1920s Prohibition vibe. Austin owned and operated with 4 locations in Avery Ranch, BK, Belterra, and Lakeway. This month, try their Philly cheesesteak, their fried catfish, or their chicken schnitzel, and pair it with the Honeydeuce, their cocktail of the month. Catch the game at the bar, soak in the vibe, and don't miss happy hour weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. It's the League Kitchen and Tavern. Comfort food reimagined.
Fall into savings at Maxwell Ford. Hit the trails in a rugged Ford Bronco or cruise Austin in a new Bronco Sport. Lease a new Ford Bronco for just $447 a month with 0 down, or a Ford Bronco Sport for just $347 a month with 0 down. Maxwell Ford, home of transparent pricing and no dealer add-ons. Visit us on South I-35 or MaxwellFord.com. Bronco MSRP $47,307. Bronco Sport MSRP $32,990. First payment to assignment 36 months, 10,500 miles yearly. See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/25.
Hey, bro. Weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At
Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Are you planning a special event or need to secure a construction site? Call Viking Fence today. For all your temporary fencing needs, Viking Fence is the name you can trust. With over 50 years of experience in Central Texas, Viking Fence provides top quality temporary fencing and excellent service. And that's not all. Viking also offers sanitation, dumpster, and mobile storage services to keep your space safe and secure. Give them a call today at 512-601-8911 for a free estimate or visit vikingfence.com/radio to learn more. Trust Viking Fence, where excellent work, outstanding service, and an honest reputation comes standard. There's no comparison on quality and price. For all your temporary fencing needs, think Viking Fence. Call 512-601-8911. That's 512-601-8911 for a free estimate or visit vikingfence.com/radio. That's vikingfence.com/radio. vikingfence.com/radio.
Only one app puts the live radio dial in your pocket
and lets you save your favorite stations, playlists, and podcasts as presets.
iHeartRadio is your all-access pass to the audio that moves you.
Get what millions already have. The free iHeartRadio app.
The #1 app for radio.
From the Audio Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. It's the Craig Way Show with the voice of the Texas Longhorns and Hall of Fame broadcaster, Craig Way.
Third and final hour on a Friday afternoon here in Austin. Jake Herman, the producer of this show, in for Craig Way today. Craig is getting ready to call some Friday Night Lights in Dallas on Victory Plus. Should be a fun one for him with Salina and Panther Creek tonight. And it should be a fun weekend for Craig Way as well. Can't wait to get his thoughts when he returns on Monday. Going to enjoy some live music, getting to see a living legend in Ringo Starr. Hope Craig keeps his phone on him, though, because there is a lot of good college football to keep up with. We'll start with a huge matchup in the SEC, one of two really big SEC matchups here with Alabama taking on Georgia. Of course, last year in Tuscaloosa, these two teams played a thriller. A lot of people said that victory for Alabama, a good candidate for game of the year. Tide were all over the Dogs early, got on top by 28 points in the first half before Carson Beck and company started storming back. Eventually, a key interception in the end zone and a highlight reel touchdown for Ryan Williams swung the game in Alabama's favor late. But the Tide, who came out of that game ranked #1, how did they follow it up? A road loss to Vanderbilt. And under Kalen DeBoer, the Tide are just 2-4 in road SEC games. So having to go between the hedges at Sanford Stadium and beat a team that hasn't lost there since 2019, yeah, that's a tall task. Remember, it was South Carolina who pulled that upset over Georgia back in 2019, took 3 interceptions from Jake Fromm. Holinsky, the South Carolina quarterback in that game. Man, It has been 6 years since Georgia lost between the hedges. That's what Alabama and Kalen DeBoer are trying to do as 3.5-point underdogs in Athens on Saturday night. Now, a couple things in play. Number one, Alabama getting a little healthier on offense, particularly at the running back position. It's a position that Alabama hasn't gotten a whole lot out of this season, particularly in that loss to Florida State, but they haven't needed it. They're getting Jam Miller back. Remember, they lost Justice Haynes to the transfer portal not too long ago, and he's made a pretty big impact at Michigan, type of home run hitter that this Alabama offense might be missing a little bit in this game. But Jam Miller can provide that. Power runner with a good second gear to him. Danny Lewis Jr. might return too for Alabama. All that's to say, they might be able to take a little bit of pressure off of Ty Simpson, who really struggled on the road at Florida State in that loss for Alabama in the opener. Now, for all we know, this Florida State team could be one of the last 12 in the end as an ACC contender. We'll learn a lot more about them when they take on Miami in a couple weeks' time. Miami team who, as we talked about yesterday when on Texas football, CJ Vogel joined the program, a lot of people been very pleasantly surprised by Miami. We want your thoughts on Miami, all the rest of the college football playoff contenders as well. We offer the text line to you. All you have to do is text the word Texas to 81530, followed by your message in the same text. For instance, somebody said, Texas, does this host know how much a golf ball costs? Way less than $17. Well, does that texter know how bad I am at golf? If he thinks I'm done after losing one ball on the course, think again. We've got plenty more texts we're going to get to when we talk about NFL a little bit later on in this hour. But Georgia and Alabama, Ty Simpson, he's been quietly terrific over the last couple weeks. Now, I know what you're going to say. Playing UL Monroe and Wisconsin at home, it's just not the same caliber as what you're going to see from Georgia. Even if Tennessee exposed some weaknesses in the Georgia secondary last week. But Simpson was, over those two games, a total of 31 for 36. Just under 600 yards through the air. 7 touchdowns. No interceptions. And the most important thing, he got rid of the ball quickly. He's only sacked once in those two games. That's going to be key because Georgia's pass rush was able to impact the game a lot on the road in Knoxville when they grabbed a win over Tennessee. A come-from-behind win a week ago. But Kalen DeBoer had a choice before the season, right? He could hand the reins over to Ty Simpson or opt to bring in the 5-star recruit Keelan Russell, who he brought in as perhaps the heir apparent to lead his offense, to run his system, now with OC Ryan Grubb in place, the way he intended it, and the way a lot of Alabama fans probably visualized things would go when Kalen DeBoer was appointed as Nick Saban's replacement after his sudden retirement. Here's what DeBoer had to say about Simpson a couple days ago.
You know, one guy that's really stepped up a lot is our QB. You know, just really proud of the way Ty's become more vocal, and you know, especially in the wake of some adversity, you've really seen that come on. And what I love about it is it's just real genuine. You know, it's real, it's heartfelt. The way he talks and the appropriate times, he just really has a good sense. He's really grown as a leader that way. And so there's more guys that lead in a vocal way, but I would say those two guys are one offense, one defense. If I had to pick them, it'd be those guys. I mean, our guest here, Bray, is going to be one of those guys that picks and chooses the right time to say the things. And when he speaks, everyone listens because it's not all the time, but it's at the right time. And, that'd be something that I would say about Bray, and his vocal leadership.
The way Alabama was rocked and rattled on the road to start the season at Florida State makes me so hesitant to back them in a spot like this against an opponent like this, where you know Kirby Smart has had this game circled. It's not like they could have prepped ahead. Brutal grind of a schedule having to face Tennessee a couple weeks ago. But I'm taking Alabama in the upset on the road. Penn State trying to flip a script on last year's game, just like Georgia will be tomorrow night, when they take on Oregon. Top 10 matchup, night game in Happy Valley on Saturday night. Game's on Peacock. Oregon has an extra week to prepare. Or I should say Penn State does, coming out of a bye. But really, this is the first big test for both of these two teams. Oregon's most difficult game, you could argue, coming into this week's game, was Oklahoma State. Guess what? They don't have a coach right now. Can James Franklin get this Penn State team over the hump? And the answer won't be settled for sure in this game, but it would give a lot of people confidence that he could get them over that big playoff hurdle if they're able to knock off Oregon at home tomorrow night. I think there's a lot more pressure on Penn State than Oregon in this game just because of that simple fact. Penn State defense has been outstanding to start the season. Their offense hasn't quite looked as crisp as maybe some people thought it would, but it hasn't been tested. They beat Nevada, Florida International, and Villanova to start their 2025 campaign. Drew Aller, a guy that many have projected as a potential first-round talent, hasn't exactly lit up the stat sheet yet to start the year. They've leaned on their running game a lot. That combination of Katron Allen, Nick Singleton, might not find a better 1-2 punch in a backfield in all of college football this year. That game, highly, highly anticipated. A couple more ranked matchups to run through. Fox, big noon kickoff, 11 a.m. for us here in Austin. Illinois tries to bounce back against USC. I talked yesterday about how impressed I've been with USC. The way they've run the ball reminds me a little bit more of those Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma teams than anything we saw from USC with Caleb Williams. No slight to that offense. But this USC team is a lot more balanced. Jaden Mayava's been very efficient. Luke Altmaier in Illinois have to answer the bell. This game has seen some very interesting line movement. USC opened as a 1.5-point favorite. And in light of last week's events in Bloomington, they are now favored by almost a touchdown, 6.5. We'll see if the folks in the desert are right and that USC can enter the conversation as a real playoff contender if they go on the road and beat Brett Bielema and the Fighting Illini. One more big-time ranked matchup on ABC at 2:30. LSU will take on Ole Miss, who will be led by the Ferris State transfer, Trinidad Chambliss, who came on in relief when the Rebels were struggling a little bit against Arkansas. Stepped up in a big way, 21 of 29, threw for over 350 yards in that game. Was able to avoid negative plays. That's the whole key for a Lane Kiffin offense. If they're on schedule and they're not shooting themselves in the foot, they're really hard to stop. And outside of a couple of shaky quarters against Kentucky, this Ole Miss offense has looked the part. At home against an LSU defense that has certainly looked the part. LSU is ranked number 4. Ole Miss is number 13. But the public liked Ole Miss so much that the underdog has flipped. LSU opened as nearly a 2-point favorite. Now they're nearly a 2-point underdog. It's about 1.5 right now, depending on where you look. In a hostile environment in Oxford, what can Garrett Nussmeier do? Should be a lot of fun. Full day of college football. I'm going to take LSU to go to Ole Miss and get the victory. We'll shift our focus to the Friday night lights next. EJ Sanchez from Texan Live will join the program and discuss plenty of marquee matchups around Central Texas. You're listening to The Craig Way Show right here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and always for free on the iHeartRadio app.
It's the morning kickoff.
I cannot believe that you and I are seeing things exactly the same. It's a miracle.
With Mike Hardball Harge.
Why do you keep moving closer to me, man?
And the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Man, that's a lot of man. Like, let them guys... I'm going to punch you before this show's over.
Weekdays at 7 on 1300 The Zone.
Our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
Streaming only on Hulu.
Beginning Thursday.
Jelly roll!
Hi, this is Ed Sheeran.
Brian Adams.
Make some noise for Tate McRae.
Hey, I'm Shannon Hagar.
Mariah
Carey. We have Room 5. Good evening.
Hey, this is John Fogerty.
Tim McGraw.
And so much more.
See it all at our 2025 iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One. Streaming only on Hulu. Beginning Thursday.
Hey, Longhorn fans, your game day just got easier. Introducing the brand new Texas Longhorns app with Game Day HQ. Everything you need is right at your fingertips. Real-time ticket updates, parking info, and all the details to get you to the stadium stress-free. Turn on push notifications for can't-miss updates, exclusive offers, live scores, and highlights that bring the game to life wherever you are. Download the Texas Longhorn app today. Available on Apple and Android devices. Never miss a minute of the action.
This isn't just a game, it's a once-in-a-generation event. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Celebrate 100 years of high-flying dunks, 100 years of show-stopping moves, and 100 years of changing the game. Bring the whole family and be part of a legacy that never stops. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com.
iHeart presents Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour, taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th.
Straight out of Compton, it's a crazy brother named Ice Cube.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-935-3377. 800-935-3377.
Don't you agree that it's a wonderful thing to save a dog's life? I certainly do, and I invite you to go to puppyfoodbank.org and make a $15 a month donation right now. Do it now, and Thomas J. Henry will generously match all charitable donations made this month online at puppyfoodbank.org. It's your chance to help save thousands of pets in our community, so please give a little to help save little guys like you. So please go to puppyfoodbank.org right now, and they'll send you a very nice gift.
We started Henyon and Walsh for people like you. People with integrity, honesty, and loyalty. The result? We care about you and your investment success. We're dedicated to your financial goals, so we'll always give you our best efforts because you've earned it. We're Henyon and Walsh and committed to you. Get a second opinion. Call 800-279-5279 or find us online. Investing involves risk, including the possible loss of principal. Advisory services provided by Henyon & Walsh Asset Management. Securities offered by Henyon & Walsh Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
From the Odoo.com Traffic Center. Odoo.com, the only business software you'll need.
Still taking a look right now on I-35 northbound approaching Old Torf going to East 51st. It looks like we are going to have a 15 to possibly 20-minute delay to get through that mess. Also on 71 eastbound between Burleson and Thornberry Road. Expect a 10 to 12-minute delay. I'm William Shotwell. We'll look at your Austin area traffic.
This report is sponsored by Aleve. Life doesn't wait, and neither should you. Aleve can help you deal with pain less throughout your day. With just one pill, Aleve lasts up to 12 hours. Don't let those aches and pains hold you back from doing what's important to you. Use as directed.
The free iHeartRadio app has over 100 commercial-free original stations waiting for you to explore right now, like Cross Country. Cross Country is the sound of Americana blending country, rock, and America's greatest songwriters. Bob Dylan and Bonnie Raitt to Chris Stapleton and Zach Bryan. Open the free iHeartRadio app, search Cross Country, and listen now. Free never sounded so good.
Coach Sark here, back to the Craig Way Show on your home for the Longhorns, 1300 The Zone.
Well, we just talked you through a very jam-packed college football slate on tap for the weekend, but why not start your weekend tonight with high school football? A busy night for high school football all around the area. I've got EJ Sanchez on the line from Texan Live. EJ, you live and breathe this, calling games almost every night of high school football, it seems. First off, how are you? Thanks for taking the time to stop along your journey and chat with us.
Yeah, man, of course. Always happy to talk in some Friday Night Lights, and you are correct. Yeah, about 2 games a week, but really no other place I'd rather be. But before we do get into it, did I hear you pick Alabama?
I did. I took 2 SEC road teams. I'm just asking for it today.
Yes, you are, man. I'm ready to get into it. It wouldn't be a conversation between you and I if I didn't give you a little grief off the top.
Well, look, I'll give you a chance to narrow it down because you've called dozens of games already this season. Is there one matchup that delivered the most, that was, the most memorable of your slate so far this year?
It's 2 of the teams I think we're planning on talking about right now. I drove down to the Brazos Valley and I went to College Station for Weiss to take on A&M Consolidated. It was 2 teams. I believe Consolidated began the year in the top 10. And at the time, Weiss was in the top 10. Consolidated had just lost to Forney in their pre-district schedule. So it was one that I wanted to jump on, and it was 48-40 as the final with the Tigers taking down the Wolves. But that was probably the one where, a ranked matchup, I mean, you know this, Jake, with the games that you've called as well. Sometimes the schedule before, doesn't dictate, what that game's going to be. This was legitimately 2 teams that should be playing pretty close to Thanksgiving.
Well, and I want to stick with the Tigers for a second because under Coach Schmidt, they've not only looked good again, coming off that regional semifinal win from a year ago, but they're building momentum. Rivalry win over College Station last week. And it seems like, EJ, they've done it in different ways. Against Weiss, it was that rushing attack setting the tone. And then last week, it was chunk plays through the air and stingy defense.
Well, they had a quarterback battle that really wasn't cemented even by the time that I took their game in week 3, Jake. It's always the funniest thing with, A&M Consolidated. I mean this, with as much respect as possible. There's no, 4 or 5-star player that, you circle on their schedule that you have to go out and watch. They have 11 offensive players and 11 defensive players that are really well coached. And so I think that's why you get a little bit of that parity. And Brandon Schmidt, the head coach of the Tigers, he's an offensive line coach by trade. And even talking with, coaches that have had to go up against him, they say, hey, if your offensive line coach is your head coach, we're not going to be able to, scheme anything really past you because that's how you know your team is disciplined. And that was really the way they came out and got that win against Weiss and got that win over College Station. Chunky Mooring, he's going to be a next-level player. He's like the tip of the spear, but like you said, Holt Goodwin has taken over at quarterback. He's looked really, really good. He possesses a really nice touch on the ball. And, the Tigers were a team where everybody said after they graduated heavy after last year, are they going to be back? And they've kind of put all of those, naysayers to rest.
So tonight they get 3-0 Anderson, who has defended well right from the jump, but they've really been able to move the ball with a lot of effectiveness this year, due in large part to the transfer in at running back, Caleb Crenshaw.
Anderson is one of my favorite teams in the area, Jake, for that reason. I was a big fan of Crenshaw when he was at Austin LBJ, so he's making the jump, from 4A Division II to 5A Division I, and he's answered the bell. And this is an Anderson team that thought last year was their window, quite frankly. You had Max Gerlich, who's now at UTSA at quarterback, and TCU Horned Frogs fans will remember Ed Small, who broke the all-time Austin ISD receiving record a year ago. So the question always was, hey, is our defense going to be able to carry along our offense until it's ready? That's dispelled now. Caleb Crenshaw a year ago, and I mean this wholeheartedly, pound for pound, was my favorite running back in the Austin area. And there was never a doubt to me that the 4A to 5A jump would be too much, but he's answered the call. He's averaging nearly, over 100 yards a game. And that defense, like you said, Liam McMillian is one of the most underrated edge players in the 5-1-2. That Anderson team is, I think, a surprise to everybody else, but not a surprise to them.
Yeah, 2 sacks already for McMillian. That Anderson defense has forced 7 turnovers. And EJ, they've given up 16 points in just 3 games. Is that defensive success going to translate at Console tonight? What do you think Donald Hatcher's team has to do to pull an upset there?
Well, Caleb Crenshaw has to touch the ball 25 times. And I know it's 2025. I'm not supposed to talk about running the ball. It's supposed to be air raid, get on the expressway and go. But that really is. You have to limit how much Console's on offense. And it's really because Console's trench play is what's kind of in different ways, but it's all based through the line. And so if you were able to give Crenshaw 25 looks and you turn it over to McMillian and another Austin LBJ transfer that I don't want to get lost in the mix, everybody else on that defense. So if they have Crenshaw over about 140 yards, I think they can, but I would still take the Tigers in that game.
Okay, well, stay in 5A Division I because I'm filling your seat tonight, typically in Pflugerville calling Weiss Wolves games. You kind of travel everywhere, but Weiss is clashing with Hendrickson tonight. This is more of your traditional air raid style offense for both of these teams.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Weiss, even from Steve Van Meter, who really got that program off the ground. He was a disciple of the air raid. He turns it over to Vernon Hughes, who's now at Mesquite Horn in the District of Doom, up in Dallas. And now you have Malcolm Hill, and he's not necessarily an air raid guy, but he's a tempo and, air it out guy. And why wouldn't you when you see, the guys that he has in his stable? Trey Moore, the 4-star receiver who has 32 offers.
34 now.
He's going to have his – exactly. He had 2 more in this week. It's hard to – that's how you know he's good, Jake. When you can't keep up with how many offers he gets, because he gets a new Power 5, Power 4 one each week. So he's going to be the best player on the field. Jackson Shad, if nobody knows his story quickly, he's slated to be the backup a year ago as a freshman, freshly turned 14. Unfortunately, injury to starting quarterback Jax Brown, who's now at Arkansas State. And he has to lead a team who had deep postseason aspirations as a freshman. So he has a full year in the system now. He's airing it out a little bit more, not to mention, the players they have all around, on the defensive side too. You have, a Tylen Henderson who has a Texas Tech offer as a receiver. He's playing middle linebacker. You have Garrett Stennett, who is a defensive back that just committed to Sam Houston State. So, the athleticism of Weiss it's jarring. And that's the reason why Brandon Schmidt knows that team is one that can be in the 3rd round. Hendrickson's a little bit, kind of an unknown still. Jake, you're calling this game tonight, so obviously but it's a matter of which team you're going to get. I really like Pete Vallejo Jr., okay? He's a sophomore last year, now coming into his own offensively, and he has a stable too. Romello Boykin is not going to get talked about because of Trey Moore, and I'm not going to let that happen because Mello, over the last 4 weeks, has been as good as any receiver in Central Texas. You add Trevor Morgan, a little bit of a speed option, E.J. Neal Adams, the running back, and Adarius Hines, who in 3 years hasn't given up a sack on the Hawks offensive line.
That is really something. And I promise you this, I'll try not to let anybody fly under the radar if they're making a big impact tonight, but there could be a lot of points scored in that game. And, remember the thrill in the Ville a few years back, sort of that return to pre-COVID atmosphere. Could be some fireworks in that one between Weiss and Hendrickson. Perusing the rest of the games around the area, and looking through the computer picks. Now, there's one matchup where the computer thinks there's pretty much just 1 point in between the two teams. And I want to see if you agree. It's Round Rock and Cedar Ridge. The Dragons got their first win of the season a week ago. I know Cody Moore's crew didn't expect to be 0-3, but they were able to take care of McNeil, really controlling time of possession in that game. Did they find a winning formula in that one, and can they use it tonight against Cedar Ridge?
I think they're going with what they're always good at, and that is, smash mouth football. And Jake, though I know Round Rock fans, I mean, you and I are from the area, they're worried about 0-3, but we need to remember something about the schedule they have played.
Right.
Killeen, Temple, you're talking about teams that haven't lost yet. Temple right now is undefeated, as is Killeen Shoemaker. Those two are actually going at it tonight in North Texas. That's going to be a fun one to keep up with. But they've played a gauntlet of a pre-district schedule, so I'm not worried about Round Rock. Now, what is interesting matchup is Cedar Ridge reminds me of old Big 12. And the reason I say it is, look, they're 2-2. They're scoring a ton of points. They have not had a game yet where they have not put up 30 points yet. And so the shootout they had with Hutto a couple of weeks ago, I think that Round Rock is going to be fine, but do not let them get in a hole tonight against Cedar Ridge.
Yeah, it's one of those games where whoever has the ball last has tended to have success in those Cedar Ridge games this year. Clash of styles kind of coming toe-to-toe. One of those tough non-district games for Round Rock was Vista Ridge, and they get Vandegrift tonight. The computers are picking Vandegrift by 3 scores. Is this one going to be closer than that in your eyes?
I think closer. Now, if you were asking my professional opinion, I probably would still, roll with Vandegrift. But Vista Ridge has earned their spot right now as undefeated. They don't just give you, the record that they have. So I want to still put some respect on Vista Ridge when I say this. But Vandegrift is a team that's had to recover after what I thought was the most surprising result in week 1 of the Texas high school football season. Straight off of a 6A Division II title, not a by-district run, not a regional semifinal run, a title when they beat South Lake Carroll in December. And they lost 48-14 to Dripping Springs to open up the season. And everybody was worried about what's going on. They've righted the ship. Miles Tedecki has been awesome. Chilton, who is headed to Air Force. Vista Ridge will keep it closer than that. And if you ask me, I think this is a game, headed into the second half.
Well, we'll see if it plays out that way. Two teams that could really use a win coming off of losses, McNeil and Stony Point. We mentioned McNeil coming up short against Round Rock a week ago. Stony Point shut out by that Vandegrift team last they took the field. Always tends to be kind of a close and funky game when McNeil and Stony Point get together. The computer thinks McNeil has a slight edge. What do you think?
McNeil has some really dynamic athletes, Jake. Jaden Stoltz, their starting quarterback, he's committed to Colgate. Jarrell Gary, who is kind of in that Romello Boykin category where, he may not have, the Trey Moore amount of offers, but he is just so versatile. He in all-purpose yards, he's the type of guy that's going to finish with 700 through the air and 500 on the ground. So I agree in the fact that McNeil should be favored in this game. But, Stony Point has impressed me in the early season. I know you're saying, hey, EJ, they're 0-2 in district, and they're 2-2 overall. How is that impressive? Look, they've played 2 undefeated teams in district. They played Vandegrift and Vista Ridge, and they hung with Vista Ridge. That final score was 31-21. But Buda Johnson, a solid team that's going to make the playoffs in 6A. Beat them 17-14 in week 2. So I think it's going to be exactly, what you remember as former voice of the McNeil Mavericks over there, Jake.
That's
right. I was going to go through this phone call. Don't think I was going to go through this phone call without bringing that up. But I think that Stony Point has the pieces to potentially, I guess, if you want to call it an upset, you can. But I would take McNeil simply for the fact that I think they have the 2 best skill players in this matchup.
Yeah, you saw that McNeil team week 1. That game was pretty tight for a while before Weiss wound up pulling away in the second half. McNeil could really use a victory there before they take on Vandegrift on the road in a week. Coach Herman goes against his old mentor in Coach Sanders. All right, I'm going to ask you to look ahead. I know we're a little less than halfway through the high school football season, and shoot, you might be a little more than halfway towards your destination, towards San Antonio, where you're calling a game tonight. But what is a matchup that's on the calendar coming up that you're really, really anticipating, even though it's just late September?
You know what, Jake? When I really think about this, I'm thinking we're going to use a team that, we've already talked about. I'm really still interested in Weiss College Station, which is going to be in College Station this year, because I think that, with A&M Consolidated, if they take care of business tonight, which I anticipate they would, that could be for, a potential second, third seed. And that is the last thing you want to do in 12-5A Division I, because you have to go to 13-5A Division I, which has 2 top 10 teams in it, in Angleton and LaPorte. Weiss did that a year ago. They had to go down to Angleton, who made a regional final run, and they lost. If you can finish in the top 2 seeds in this district, and it's going to be a race between Anderson, Weiss, and College Station and Hendrickson. They're all in a race for it. But that game might determine the difference between the 2 seed and the 3 seed, and the difference between driving down to the greater Houston area and staying closer to home for what might be your toughest matchup.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference that game might make in the respective seasons for both teams. You can say the same thing potentially about Bastrop and Liberty Hill. I was at House Park last night. Bastrop facing a McCallum team that really played them tight last year, won that game 68-7. Their offense is humming with 4-star quarterback Weston Nielsen. And then Liberty Hill, boy, doing the same thing as ever with that slot team. Those two could be on a collision course in District 11-5 AD2.
Oh, I cannot wait for that matchup to happen. And also, don't sleep on Pflugerville. A big win over Elgin. The good thing about that district in particular, Jake, is that those matchups are in the final 3 weeks of the year. That's when everybody starts to play each other. And I know that's just how the schedule shakes out. There's no network trying to boost ratings or anything like that to make them in prime time or anything. But it's going to come down to, hey, Pflugerville, Bastrop, and Liberty Hill, they're all going to play each other. We don't have to worry about it. But those 3 teams are all on a collision course. Weston Nielsen is so fun. And I have to credit, Michael Adams of the Austin Sports Journals. Jake, you're in this industry, and you see, 30 points per game at the high school level. You have pretty good offense. 40? Oh, wow. You're putting some points on the board. 50, you're like, okay, this is all time, all state of Texas, regardless of classification. Bastrop is averaging 60.4. That's a thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just a big fan of them. You got to see it last night. The first time they've gotten out to this record since 2009. And this is kind of just a continuation from their run a year ago. And I'm all in on the Bears. That Bastrop's going to be a really fun team to watch.
Yeah, I know that defense gave up 55 points against Prestonwood Christian, but they have made a heck of a lot of plays this year. It's an opportunistic Bastrop defense. And we'll see how they match up against some of those teams coming up on the tail end of that schedule. EJ, last question for you. Player or a team that maybe nobody's talking about right now, but we might talk about them a few weeks from now a little bit differently in a good way.
I mentioned them at the top of it, and it's not necessarily that anybody – I'm copping out, first of all. I'm going to make sure that you know that.
That was expected.
It's hard to say for an undefeated team, but I'm going with Dripping Springs. Everybody kind of shoot away a 48-14 opening win against Vandegrift. Okay, so I felt like that was kind of swept under the rug. And since then, 55-0 against Wagner, 31-26 over a really good Harker Heights team up in Killeen. And then on the road at Buda Johnson, who I mentioned was a playoff team, 52-0. And a month from now, you're going to get your tests. You're going to get October 17th against Lake Travis, which right now is going to be a top 10 matchup and one that I hope to be around or potentially call. And then they finish up with Westlake. So, yes, they might be riding a little bit of the, haven't played the lakes, Westlake and Lake Travis. But Dripping Springs, I'd circle that October 17th game. And if they give Lake Travis a run or even beat Lake Travis, they have them at home, I'm all in on the Tigers.
And the Tigers get Aikens at home tonight at Austin High and then Bowie. So they could very well, you don't want to jump ahead to conclusions, but they could be looking at 7-0 going into that game. EJ, this was a lot of fun. Appreciate all of your insight. And, hey, I'll let you off the hook before we get to the Dallas Cowboys because I know you got thoughts there too.
That's the next time conversation, Jake. I appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for having me on.
That's EJ Sanchez of Texan Live. We will talk Dallas Cowboys and NFL coming up here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
From the ABA Heating and Cooling Weather Center, this is Zone Weather.
Mostly clear tonight, looking for an overnight low of 64. No mention of rain in the forecast.
This report is sponsored by ParkWiz.
Make parking the easiest part of your night with ParkWiz. Reserve ahead and roll right in so you can enjoy the show, the game, or a night out without circling for parking. Save up to 50% off a secured space and skip the stress. Smarter parking starts here. Download the ParkWiz app today.
The 2025 football season has finally arrived, both at the collegiate and pro level. Here's a question. Is your home entertainment system performing like a pro? Are you happy with yours? If not, why not visit with Tom McKay and his great people at Audio Visual Consultations? AV Consultations is one of the largest dealers of most television and audio brands, so the chances are they're going to have or be able to get whatever you need for the entertainment system you've envisioned. You don't have to shop for the TV and the surround sound, not to mention all the mounts, the equipment needed to make it work. Tom and his guys will handle it. They'll bring home everything needed for your space, and they'll set up all of it for you. So whether you're into watching college football, the NFL, or some other form of sports or entertainment, let Tom McKay and his guys handle it for you. It's that easy. Give my friend Tom McKay a call today at 512-255-8678. That's 512-255-8678, or check them out at avconsultations.com. Let Audiovisual Consultations help you realize the home entertainment system of your dreams.
Raise your glass to start Oktoberfest and keep it raised for our authentic Stein hoisting competition. Join in on Fridays in September at 6 o'clock for a chance to win weekly prizes and Sam Adams swag, only at Twin Peaks Eats, Drinks, Scenic Views.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500? That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $500,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com.
Henna Chevrolet, we'll always stand by you.
Together, let's drive.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Make parking the easiest part of your night with ParkWiz. Reserve ahead and roll right in so you can enjoy the show, the game, or a night out without circling for parking. Save up to 50% off a secured space and skip the stress. Smarter parking starts here. Download the ParkWiz app today.
Hey everybody, Daniel Jeremiah here.
And I'm Bucky Brooks.
On Move the Sticks, we take you inside the game, from breaking down college prospects and NFL rookies
to evaluating team building philosophies, coaching trends, and how front offices construct winning rosters.
We study the tape, talk to decision makers, and give you a perspective you won't find anywhere else. Listen to the Move the Sticks podcast on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Follow the Move the Sticks podcast and start listening on the free iHeart Radio app today.
You guys just didn't want it bad enough. That should have been an easy win. What were you doing out there? You got to hustle. You could have made that play if you'd been open.
On the car ride home after the game, when you think you're helping by telling me what I did wrong and what I need to work on, all I hear is that I'm not good enough, that I'm supposed to be perfect, that it's not okay to lose. On the car ride home, all I need to hear is how much you love me and enjoy watching me play, that my worth isn't determined by my performance, that even on my worst day, I am worthy, that you see me learning, growing, and doing my best. And that is enough.
This message presented by the WIAA and the Washington Secondary School Athletic Administrators Association.
It's the morning kickoff show with Mike Hardball Hart and Mark Henry. Weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. only on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. And we're back to the Craig Way Show. Have a message for Craig? Share it by using the TalkBack feature on the iHeartRadio app.
I was born with my papa's son, wandering out a smoking gun. Now some of you would live through me, then lock me up and throw away the key.
I want to thank EJ Sanchez from Texan Live joining us on a Fire Me Up Friday. Hey, with the Longhorns on bye, there's still plenty to be fired up about, including lots of marquee matchups in high school football this weekend. Starting tonight, you can hear EJ's work on Texan Live. Okay, as promised, some NFL previews to get to. We'll start with the Sunday night game. The Green Bay Packers come to Arlington to take on the Dallas Cowboys. That's right, Micah Parsons returning to Dallas to take on his former team. And look, the Dallas Cowboys are a team with a lot to prove, particularly on the defensive side of the ball coming into this matchup. And Green Bay, not a team that pushes the ball vertically downfield quite so much as the Cowboys' last few opponents. Saw the Bears really exploit the Cowboys in that area a week ago. And Brian Schottenheimer very open about some of the communication breakdowns, and we'll see what kind of changes, if any, are made on the back end for Dallas coming into this game. But we'll see whether Jordan Love pushes the ball a little bit more than usual against a very much struggling Dallas Cowboys secondary. Of course, Dak Prescott, if he wants to keep pace in this game, he'll be doing so without CeeDee Lamb. That means he'll have to rely a little bit more on the Cowboys' newest wide receiver, George Pickens. He's been in that number one role before, remember, as a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll tell you more about them in a few minutes. But here's what Dak had to say when asked about George Pickens' added importance in this particular game with CeeDee Lamb sidelined.
Yeah, it's where we needed to be in this point. Obviously, there's always going to be growth. That's with any receiver, anybody that I play with. It's in the sense of we're never complacent. We're always going to push it, but very comfortable, very confident in what he's going to do, where I expect him to be, where he expects the ball. Just and those communications are continuously happen. I mean, just conversation we just had out there today was one that was needed after a couple of incompletions on a certain ball. Just getting back at it and us having the same mindset of how we're going to attack that route. He's a great player. I told y'all that from the time he shows up. These receivers, guys like George, CD, they make it easy for that chemistry to grow, right? They go do their job. I just, talk to them a little bit about what I expect here, what I expect there, and they go make plays. And so I'm looking just to continue to build on what we've only started.
And then Dak Prescott was asked about facing Micah Parsons. The two longtime teammates probably thought they were going to continue to be teammates a lot longer than the way things ended up. But it'll be Micah Parsons lining up against Dak Prescott for the first time on Sunday night. And what did Dak have to say to reporters when asked about how that's going to feel?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun. Yeah, it's one me and my fiance were just talking about the other day, and just all the reps of practice going against Micah, in times when he couldn't hit me, whether him getting back there, just the trash talk back and forth, me telling him, he wouldn't tackle me anyways. You still can't bring me down. You got to get to that point. So just getting to go out there and compete with a guy that's a good friend that that I've competed with in numbers of ways throughout this building, outside of this building. Yeah, just excited to go and have that matchup. But he's got 5 guys up front plus tight ends and running backs that he's got to get through. So then we'll worry about if he can get to me.
Green Bay, a 6.5-point favorite in that matchup, 7:20 p.m. on NBC. And hey, you don't have to leave your couch at all on Sunday. Why? It's the first of the NFL international games going on this season. Interesting matchup with the Carson Wentz-led Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers in Dublin. And it's a game that the Steelers certainly looking to bounce back with a victory in. And Aaron Rodgers already doing his best to endear himself to the Irish fans.
I like my Guinness on tap. I haven't seen any taps around here, but I went to years ago. I was on the island in a different country on this island, and I had to go to 4 different bars to find a Guinness on tap. So I'm hoping that's not the case tonight.
Yeah, he likes a Guinness on tap. That should bring a few more Rodgers jerseys into the stands at Croke Park on Sunday morning. That's an 8:30 Central Time kick, just under 12 hours before the Cowboys will take the field against the Green Bay Packers. Texans are looking for their first win as well. They will host the Tennessee Titans at noon on CBS. Odds makers like Houston by 7.5 points in that matchup. We'll talk a little bit more about the rest of the NFL slate and update you on the Ryder Cup scoreboard. When we wrap up today's edition of the program next on AM 1300 The Zone.
It's the morning kickoff.
Are y'all going to do that clinic again?
It's actually tonight.
I didn't get an invite.
Because it's a women's clinic.
You invited me last year.
You invited yourself last year.
I did not.
What'd you say to me? Art, where y'all going to be tonight? Hey, this is what's going on, Mark. All right, I'll see y'all up there.
You shouldn't have told me about it then. I know now. Yeah, I know now.
Weekdays at 7.
Tomorrow night, live on NBC and Peacock, the Oregon Ducks
Spectacular!
take on the Penn State Nittany Lions.
With a massive play!
It's the Whiteout in Happy Valley, under the lights in prime time.
This house is rocking.
Don't miss Big Ten Saturday night, tomorrow, 7 Eastern, live on NBC and Peacock. Here comes Saturday night.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This isn't just a game, it's a once-in-a-generation event. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Come be part of a legacy that never stops. The Harlem Globetrotters 100-year tour. Get your tickets today at harlemglobetrotters.com.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random +1.
I can't believe I'm standing here today. Seriously, why am I standing here?
Don't settle for just any insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
iHeart presents Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour, taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th.
Straight out of Compton, it's a crazy brother named Ice Cube.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Football season is in full swing, and there's no better place to get in on the action than Bet Online, your number one source for all things football. Bet Online has all the latest odds, breaking news, live scores, and even in-game betting, so you'll never miss a moment. From every pro to college football matchup to baseball, cage fighting, and hockey futures, Bet Online keeps you locked into the action all year long. Head to Bet Online today, because at Bet Online, the game starts here.
Fall into savings at Maxwell Ford. Hit the trails in a rugged Ford Bronco or cruise Austin in a new Bronco Sport. Lease a new Ford Bronco for just $447 a month with zero down, or a Ford Bronco Sport for just $347 a month with zero down. Maxwell Ford, home of transparent pricing and no dealer add-ons. Visit us on South I-35 or maxwellford.com.
Bronco MSRP $47,307. Bronco Sport MSRP $32,990. First payment to sign in 36 months, 10,500 miles yearly. See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/25.
Hey, this is Jamie Loftis, and this is my new weekly show, 16th Minute of Fame, the podcast where every episode I take a closer look at an internet character of the day. Who were they? What made them so notorious? How did the internet, or sometimes the algorithm, choose them? And what does a person do when they're suddenly confronted with more attention than the human psyche can handle? Take The Dress, a story that went uber viral in early 2015 in spite of being, well, kind of a boring optical illusion. A mother of the bride in Scotland took a picture of a dress she was thinking about wearing to her daughter's wedding. But she saw the dress as blue with black lace, and her daughter saw it as white with gold lace. One BuzzFeed post later, every single person on the internet was talking about the dress. But to me, the dress is a story about the last couple of months when the internet was still sort of fun. It was shortly before the stories that spread across the internet stopped being driven by exploited millennials with useless arts degrees and started being decided by algorithms hell-bent on growing internet usership at all costs. And on a long enough timeline, the story of the dress is one entangled with abuse and media exploitation. Internet history is a tricky thing to be invested in. It feels like every time a bad-with business billionaire buys up another platform, history starts being erased. With the team at Cool Zone Media, we're taking these characters' 16th minute of fame to see what their moment meant to them and what it says about us.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and listen now.
Back to Craig Way, the voice of the Longhorns on 1300 The Zone.
Heading down the home stretch and into the weekend on the Craig Way Show. Jake Herman in for Craig today. He'll be back on Monday after seeing Ringo Starr over the weekend, making the most of the Texas bye week. Ryder Cup scoreboard reads 5-2 Europe. Cameron Parker, a lot of us not too happy about that. John Rahm and Sepp Straka beat Scotty Scheffler and JJ Spawn 3-2. That means on day one, the world #1 held without a point. Tommy Fleetwood and Justin Rose just held off a late charge from the brilliant Ben Griffin and Bryson DeChambeau in that one today. Cam Young and Justin Thomas got a point for the Americans this afternoon. There's one match still out on course. It is Sam Burns and Patrick Cantlay tied with Rory and Shane Lowry through 16. Boy, 5-3 feels a whole lot better than 5.5 to 2.5, or even worse, 6-2. So tense moments for the U.S. here at the end of day one of the Ryder Cup. On the text line, somebody asked, with the Cowboys struggling, is it a matter of time until Austin hops on the Chargers/Dicker the Kicker bandwagon? Well, he's back in action this Sunday. That's a game I'll have my eye on. Jackson Dart gets the start for the New York Giants, who will be hosting the Los Angeles Chargers in the second biggest sporting event in New York over the weekend. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of the Craig Way Show. Really appreciate you joining us, as well as our guest, Brett Loftis of the Texas Tailgaters and EJ Sanchez of Texan Live. We hope you watch some great football this weekend and perhaps some great baseball out at Dell Diamond if you're going to check out the Longhorn baseball team in that 12-inning scrimmage, 1 o'clock tomorrow against Texas Tech. Craig's back on Monday afternoon. So will I in the producing chair. But this is Jake Herman saying thanks for joining us. Mino and Rich, Fox Sports Radio, are next here on AM 1300, The Zone.